Social Taco here and home with the doors open at 11 o'clock as they customarily do. My name is Landrum Roberts. That is my tag team partner, Pat Smith. How are you, Pat?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Landrum?
I'm doing great. Are your Cardinals still scoring runs against the Tigers?
Wow, it was a good night last night. Went up 10-0, won 11-4, beat the number one team in Major League Baseball. Yeah, it was a good night.
Speaking of baseball, we have SEC baseball going on right now live at the Hoover Met. Alabama taking on Missouri. They get things started this morning, and no score as they play in the bottom of the second inning. Now they're going to move to the top of the third inning. No score there. We'll keep you updated throughout that game and throughout all the action at Hoover. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, I was out there yesterday afternoon. Conrad and I went out there to get our credentials, hung out with Paul Feinbaum for the afternoon, and it was just – I keep talking about the things that they've done to the Hoover Mat. Can't wait for the fans. I know a lot of fans are out there this morning watching Alabama, but the concourses have been redone, the brand new chairbacks. It's just I can't say enough about the city of Hoover and their investment in the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. I know you and I both do football games there during the fall for high school, and it's a great venue for high school football. But, man, what they've been able to do to cement this SEC baseball tournament for many years to come, just hats off for the city of Hoover and their investment.
Yeah, kudos to the city of Hoover and all those people involved that make it go, and some of the unsung heroes, whether it's your typical folks that we don't give enough credit to, your first responders, but also just the volunteers that go out there and they donate their time. And I know in some instances, Pat, people actually take vacation days from their work and they go and they work and they serve their community, and that's awesome.
Yeah, they sure do. You see it during the Regions Golf Tournament. You see it during the SEC Baseball. So it really says a lot about our community. Meanwhile, Conrad has been paying very close attention to where Boogie Fland is going to end up. And just moments ago, he made it official. He is headed to Gainesville. I know that is a shock to you, Conrad, because he was mentioned for a very short time. Maybe Alabama was going to kick the tires on Boogie Fland, but it is now official. He has committed to the University of Florida.
I mean, what fun is it to go and join the defending champions, Pat, right? Like, challenge yourself a little bit if you're Boogie, right? How about take a program that missed a year of the Final Four, take them to a national championship? But no, all jokes aside, big pickup for Todd Golden, and now you add him with the Ivy League guard that they added in the portal, and Florida is going to be a very dangerous team yet again next year.
Yeah, he averaged 15.1 points, 5.7 assists before his hand injury. And then he was out for the majority of the regular season, and then Arkansas got him back towards the end of the year. So we'll see if Alabama still has room for maybe one on that roster. They continue to openly recruit, I've been told, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and seeing where Auburn is still in search of that big man, and seeing Bruce Pearl's comments about
Didn't he say about an international player?
International player, and I know that supposedly he played in the same league as, oh goodness, I'll have to go and look it up. But anyway, 6'9", he can handle the ball. He's very smooth. He's super athletic for a 6'9" guy. And according and paraphrasing what Bruce Pearl said, we're trying to get all the T's crossed and the I's dotted before we say anything, and working through that process. But it sounds like Auburn is very close to signing that last man to their roster for next.
I was going to ask you, one or two spots left. Is that one for Auburn?
I think the number was one that they could take. Now that doesn't mean that there couldn't be some other shuffling going on and making room on the roster, but I think one is their target.
Yeah. Braves were off last night. They will be back in action tonight in the nation's capital. They'll be taking on the Washington Nationals, who they had a successful series down in Atlanta last week. Quick turnaround as they get ready to play again tonight. And your guy Strider is back on the bump tonight.
Man, Spencer Strider, I hope everything goes well. Number one, with his arm, but the hamstring and just a little quirk injuries. And this is a guy that prides himself on staying in shape and really taking care of his body. But for whatever reason, he has had a bad string of luck here in the last season and a half. So hopefully tonight in the nation's capital, he can go out and, fan 13, 14. We can get a shutout.
Well, apparently this is something that pitchers have to deal with on a regular basis when at the major league level, because Casey Mize, a great pitcher from Springville High School in our listening audience, was a great pitcher for the Auburn Tigers, has been with the Detroit Tigers. He did not pitch last night because of a hamstring injury. So he was out. It was a bullpen game for the Tigers.
I think it's the quality of water in some of these cities. I don't know.
Okay.
I only said that because I saw the guy checking my meter as I was leaving the house this morning.
Your water quality, or just how much water you used?
No, just how much water we used. We did get solicited by a company. It was a third party. I thought it was from the water folks, but it was not. It was a third party. My wife, she found out real quick. Sent a sample in for the water, and then she started reading reviews and said that it was.
Does Homewood have its own
was a
water, or
scam.
do you go through Birmingham?
We go through Birmingham. You guys don't, do you?
No, we have our own water supply.
Yeah, so what else is going on?
That was a quick conversation.
Yeah, I needed to transition out of that one quick. You better get me on soapbox.
SEC baseball, we mentioned the fact that Alabama and Mizzou right now, top of the third inning, no score between one of the worst teams that we've seen in SEC baseball in quite some time.
Again, Missouri, welcome to Hoover.
Well, I'm just
You
stating a fact.
You missed the
I mean, the record is the record.
I know it is.
It
was just so funny, and you were not trying to be funny yesterday, but you're in all sincerity. You're saying, no, you were talking about
Texas
Missouri.
A&M.
You're talking about Texas A&M. Yeah, you can come and you can have a good week, but at the end of the day, you're going nowhere.
I mean, I just use the data that's given to me.
Hey, Missouri's, they've shown a little spark until
No, they have.
they didn't get swept last weekend, did they?
No, they played better the last couple weeks.
I mean, they won games. That's always important.
Well, they've out-hit Alabama 2-1 right now on the top of the third.
Okay. And they're seeing the baseball well this morning.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our next guest. He had a wonderful birthday celebration yesterday. Mike Griffith from Dog Nation and the AJC joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. Mike, happy belated birthday.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
What did you do for fun yesterday?
Oh, wow. What did I do for fun? Well, I mean, I worked. I mean, we had a On the Beach show. We have every Monday night at 7. I had the Georgia Athletic Director on to talk about Georgia athletics and, wrote a story about Georgia football. And, gosh, I guess we went out to eat last night. Nothing real exciting or extraordinary. Bought a dishwasher or two, one for one of the properties and one for my house. My dishwasher went on the fritz.
Wait a second, does that mean when I'm down there in a couple weeks I get to try out that new dishwasher?
No, you have to hand wash.
No, it wasn't down there, but it's interesting you bring it up. That the beach house is sitting vacant right now, and
What?
Keith Urban's going to be down there Thursday night, and I put it on my Facebook page. I mean, I'm
Gulf Shores Getaway AL.
Half price this week. If somebody wants to go down there, it's a good time to go down there.
Wait a second, half price?
Still in Orange Beach.
Seriously?
Yeah, half price. Yeah, this week. Yeah.
Why didn't I get that?
Yeah,
Operators are
tomorrow,
standing by.
Thursday night.
Why didn't I get
That's
that?
a short. It's one of those short-term notice Mike birthday deals I put out there last week on Facebook and the Instagram page, right, at Gulf Shores Getaway AL. I put those deals out there, man. I mean, that's how you keep it full. You give people opportunities. Now, when they come up, June's pretty much full, but this week's open, and gosh, I want to say maybe first week of July still open too. Yeah, some good stuff.
Let's go back to your birthday.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
First week of July, I'm there.
Well, I think you're there second weekend, aren't you?
Yeah, you are there second week. I was looking at vacation schedules.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, you're there.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you're there 7 through 11.
You guys know my schedule better than I do.
I think you're there
That's
7
right.
to 11, Pat. Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
All right,
So
you're in good shape.
media days.
Mike, when you
Yes.
went out for your birthday, did they come to the table and sing to you?
No, I don't like any of that kind of stuff.
I don't either.
I'm kind of kind of a low profile person around here. I mean, it's just kind of like that, incognito. We don't, without the sports coat and the tie. People kind of look at me along. You think, do I recognize that guy from somewhere? No, he's too casual.
Do you get hit up a good bit out in public when you're out in the store and stuff?
Not really. Maybe hit just in general.
Just hit.
Well, I mean,
Alabama fans.
I figured after all your time on the Feinbaum show that folks would like to take fun of you or pick at
I
you
think
a
they
little
know they know who he is. They don't want to let on that they recognize him, and so they just
You think
or
that's
they
what
don't
it
have
is?
anything
Maybe
nice
that's
to
what it
say.
No, I'd prefer to think the other, but
Oh, I think the
not
former.
Not really. I mean, look. Everybody. It's the SEC, man. We're all just SEC people down here, right?
All right, so let me ask you something. Since we just talked about our good friend Paul Feinbaum, you had Kirby Smart in town last week, played at a Pro-Am, and he was on the Paul Feinbaum show. And he kind of made some headlines. A lot of people nationally kind of took offense to what Kirby said in regards to a freshman should not be making more than a senior on the football team when it comes to NIL. What kind of reaction has that comment had over in your neck of the woods, if any?
I mean, not much. I mean, it's really no different. You guys remember when the NFL Players Union kind of stood up, and I think it might have been that Matthew Stafford landed some gargantuan rookie contract when he got drafted #1, and the NFL basically said, hey, we got to do something about this. You know, the veterans in the league need to be getting paid more, and so they got that rookie salary cap that you see now. I mean, those salaries for rookies are pretty much predetermined before the draft even happens, right? And the conventional wisdom now is, hey, you make more on your second contract, but we're going to cap what the rookies can make for their first 3 or 4 year contract. And on the second contract is when, you know, these guys really make bank, the ones that get to it, right? And we know the NFL is not for long league, which is what, only half the people get to that second contract or something like that. So the NFL's kind of figured out a way to cap it. And, you know, while college sports isn't there yet, I mean, we still don't have a settlement on House versus NCAA. Once that happens, there will be a cap, a $20.5 million cap in place for the schools to pay the student athletes. Now, they can still go outside and, you know, get their own NIL deals. You know, Arch Manning's got, whatever, $8 million worth. Other players, you know, notable players have big deals as well. But I think it'll kind of take care of itself. But right now, because that House versus NCAA settlement isn't in place and there isn't a $20.5 million cap, it's kind of the Wild West. So everybody's kind of front loading, you know, getting while the getting's good. Before this thing gets finalized, let's get some deals made where, you know, this money doesn't count against the cap right now with this most recent recruiting class, or even with some of these commitments, I suppose. You know, they could, I guess theoretically, you could pay a guy a bonus right now and it doesn't count against anything. So I mean, just give him, you know, $2 or $3 million or $4 million, whatever, and it's not going to count against the cap because the deal's been done before the judge in California has finalized that ruling and the stipulations that will come with it. So I think this is kind of the end of the Wild West for now, at least. Now, what happens outside of the booster money or the school-related money in these fair market value deals with the, you know, major corporations and companies? I mean, that's another world, and that's what Deloitte, that's where they come in as a third party, and they're going to evaluate whether these deals are legit and whether a player is getting paid the quote-unquote fair market value of their worth. And I think you guys probably saw last week Deloitte was at ACC meetings and said, 90% of those deals would have gone through, but 70% of the booster deals wouldn't have met the criteria for fair market value for a student athlete. So I don't know. Hopefully that explains it a little bit. I know it's a little muddy, but that's kind of where it's at.
Mike Griffith, DogNation.com, and the AJC covers the SEC, joining us here on Three Man Front and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. I know it's hard to project, but a lot of schools, they've gone ahead and tried to make budgetary preparations, Mike, for what they think when this House settlement comes down, what that looks like, and trying to put pen to paper. But how long do you just guess that we start seeing sports being cut at the Power 4 level at notable programs? Is it going to take a couple of years, or you think we see some of this stuff enacted here in recent times?
Well, I mean, you're already seeing it in some of the smaller schools, and the thing is, this is where, you know, this judge is, you know, I don't want to be too critical, but, you know, this hearing was April 7th. And these schools had to take these measures because there was, you know, it was pretty much approved in the last fall. Everybody's saying, okay, it's going to come July 1. I mean, if you didn't make cuts, if you didn't take steps to reduce your rosters and plan your staffs accordingly, that would have been irresponsible. Of course you were going to, you know, when the judge gave the preliminary approval, not the final ruling, but you're like, all right, this is going to happen. It's going to happen next July 1. You don't wait until, you know, June 25th. People made cuts and roster reductions, and student athletes left programs, and now they're like, you know, wanting them to put the toothpaste back in the tube, and, oh, well, actually, can we grandfather this in? I mean, yeah, but how do you undo what's already done? Student athletes have transfers, rosters have been reduced, coaching staffs and personnel has been changed appropriately. So that's the first part of the answer to your question. The second part of the answer to your question is what you're going to have is haves and have-nots. So, for example, you know, you hear roster reduction, and you start to think to yourself, oh, my goodness, you know, that's 5,000 student athletes across college sports that are no longer going to have roster spots. But there's also part of this, the caveat is there's no limitation on scholarships. Well, that wouldn't seem to go together until you consider that a lot of these non-revenue sports, baseball and softball among them, a lot of these student athletes are on partial scholarships. You might have, 11.5 scholarships for, 34 baseball slots or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that means a lot of these guys are paying their own way, or softball for same kind of deal. Well, what's going to happen, like Georgia, for example, they're going to add more than 100 scholarships. So while their rosters may not be as big in the non-revenue sports, it's feasible to think that maybe all of their non-revenue sports athletes are going to be on full scholarship. Well, in the SEC, you can afford to do that. In the Big Ten, you can afford to do that. But maybe not in the Big 12 or the ACC, and certainly not in some of the smaller conferences. So what it's going to do effectively is make the strong stronger. So I think the major programs, the major conference programs that have more money are going to benefit from this because they're going to be able to offer full scholarships to more of their non-revenue athletes, and they've got deeper pockets. So at the major college level, at the major conference level, I should say, I don't necessarily know that you're going to see a lot of programs cut. But in the smaller conferences that don't have the same amount of television revenue and can't offer those full scholarships, they will probably be the ones to start cutting some of the more non-traditional, non-revenue sports. I don't know if that answers your question, but basically the strong get stronger and the weak get weaker. I mean, this is going to divide up, college football into tiers essentially. So you're going to have Big Ten, SEC at the top. Yeah, you got the most money. Big 12, ACC second tier, second most money. And then, the other conferences are going to be scrambling to, find their specialty sport. I mean, Gonzaga and basketball, right? I'm sure you could come up with some examples of Sun Belt or Conference USA schools that are particularly good at certain sports. They're going to probably concentrate in those sports, but perhaps at the expense of some of the other sports programs.
Mike, can you hold for a second? Because I do want to ask you about SEC spring meetings. We need to take a quick break. We're live at Social Talk. When we come back, we'll talk to Mike about a preview of next week's SEC spring meetings, what we should expect, all that next. Mike Griffith joins us from the AJC here on Jocks 94.5. It's 10:22, Jocks 94.5. Appreciate Mike Griffith holding over for a few more minutes. I wanted to get Mike's take on SEC spring meetings. I know we've been kicking this can down the road, Mike, for a couple of seasons now. Do you think next week we're going to get a step closer to a 9-game SEC conference schedule?
Well, I would think so, but what's got to predicate that is the guaranteed spots in the expanded playoffs. So I mean, there could be like an agreement in principle, and I think the writing's on the wall, and I don't know that anybody. Well, I shouldn't speak, and there may be some people who have a problem with the 9-game schedule, but so what's got to happen in order is the movement's got to be made that hey, the playoffs are going to expand to 16 teams, and once that happens. And you guys have seen the same stuff out there. I have the discussions about, guaranteed bids for conferences, 4 for the Big Ten, SEC, 2 for the ACC, Big 12, kind of in line with what we were talking about on the previous segment about how the college sports is going to become tiered, largely because of the television contract revenue and the payouts and, kind of creating a bit of a hierarchy, even if it's financially. So in order, that's what will need to happen, I think. And I think all that will happen. I think, starting in 2026, I think we will see a 16-team playoff. I think the conferences will have automatic bids. And I think that the SEC will go to a 9-game schedule. Now, do we take the next step? Will we see play-in games for the SEC's 4 spots? Will we see like a playoff weekend? I mean, we know that's more television revenue. I mean, it adds value to the television packages. I mean, we're getting further and further away from the college model. I guess that's pretty much been shattered by now, though, and more into what the NFL model looks like. And, in fact, some of the conversations last week were about OTAs in the spring. 15 spring dates, but also another 6, maybe in May and June, because now these teams, I had a fan reach out to me today and said, man, really looks like a rebuilding season for Georgia. What do you think? I said, it's a rebuilding season for everybody now. Maybe not to the extent we saw in college basketball or college baseball even, but we're getting there. We're seeing football programs still try to build a core of high school talent they bring in and build up and kind of make the core of their program. But more and more you're seeing transfers influence who wins championships. What's the stat I gave you, I think, a couple of weeks ago? 4 of the last 6 teams to win a national championship had transfer quarterbacks. I think 2 of them, the other 2 had first-round picks. So that they brought in, Bryce Young being one of them. So it's the earth is shifting under our feet as we speak.
What is the expectation for not only you and folks who cover the program, but you just mentioned the rebuild, and it is kind of a rebuild for everybody. But there have been question marks heading into a season for Kirby Smart before. Where would this compare in recent memory, Mike, to some of the other Georgia rosters as far as heading into a season and some of the unknowns?
Well, you almost got to go, modern era, which kind of ended with NIL. I mean, so in 2021, when Georgia won the national title and beat Alabama in Indianapolis, they had 15 players selected in the draft and another 13 leave via the portal. And you could argue that the 2022 Georgia team faced the greatest reload in history because you never had a team that had 15 players drafted, much less in an era where there were that many, 2 transfers out of a 2 deep, 13. You essentially lost 28, out of your 2 deep, which is pretty remarkable. And then even more remarkable, they went undefeated in 2022, even after losing all that talent. So that's probably the greatest reload in college football history just from a number standpoint, right? But the difference is you could stack talent back then. The portal rules, it wasn't as open. There were still some, conditions put on this. And so Georgia was able to stack some talent and have some guys that, kind of waited in turn that maybe in today's era would have left, if they didn't start in year 1 or year 2. They'd have left and started somewhere else as a junior rather than stuck it out and waited to be the next man up at a program like a Georgia or an Alabama, a deeper program like that. Well, this is a new era now, and so you don't have that depth of talent with experience that you once had. So when you lose players now, there's a bigger gap between your first team and your second team because a lot of the guys on the second team, like Georgia's got 33 new guys in the program between their incoming freshman class and their transfers. That's 33 out of 85. That's a pretty significant load. I haven't run the numbers for the other programs, but I'd say it's probably similar. So if 33% of your program is brand new, then it makes sense to add more days of preparation in that after that first spring to get this team coached up or developed a little bit more before the next fall. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is it is becoming more and more like the NFL model, whether we like it or not. It seems to be a necessity to generate the revenue needed to pay the players, which is now supported by of course in legislation.
That is Mike Griffith from the AJC, covers the Southeastern Conference. He will be in Destin, Florida, starting on Tuesday. He will join us live from Destin next week. Mike, before we let you go, speaking of the beach, you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, you've got a wonderful deal for folks out there if they're interested to get to the beach this weekend.
Well, if they contact you or contact me and, mention WJOX, I mean, they can, what I got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, these next 3 nights, I mean, I'll let them stay there half off,
Wow.
and if they just get in touch with us. And again, Thursday night, they got the Keith Urban concert down there in Orange Beach, about 8 miles down the road from where this beach house is at. But yeah, if they want to give it a try, they just need to reach out, give it a try, and, love to get some feedback and really like getting your audience involved. I mean, we've had a lot of people in the audience, reach out or follow the Instagram account, the Gulf Shores Getaway AL account that has a lot of these offers. But this is the only time I made this offer on the air. So if they're listening and they're planning on going down there, that's a good place to stay. And this one sleeps up to 10, 60 yards from the beach, so not too bad of a deal.
No,
Make sure you cut the power before you install the dishwasher.
Well, this isn't going. This dishwasher isn't going into that property. This is a Georgia property where I got to move this dishwasher around.
Man, he's got so many properties.
He is a mogul.
He is. He's a real estate.
Mike the mogul, Griff.
Yeah, he's all over the place. Hey, Mike, enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week there in the wonderful city of Destin, Florida. And if anybody wants to reach out, I will be in touch.
He may run for president one day at this rate.
You never know.
Would that be great? You never know. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so
thanks,
much.
Mike.
Have a great week.
You too. That is Mike Griffith joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Joins us each and every Tuesday on the program. Interesting thoughts about the 9-game SEC schedule coming up. Can it happen? Will they have some type of loose agreement agreed upon there in Destin, although we keep waiting for the CFP and everything else?
And also some interesting thoughts that he had on the future of athletic departments at the Power 4 level. And I mean, basically, he thinks that just the stronger are going to get stronger, and some of those other sports, maybe it makes them better where they can offer the full scholarships, but the trickle-down effect might be catastrophic to programs in other conferences, not at the Power 4 level.
The good news is that many of us have trained air conditionings, including myself, and you're about to find out real quick why it's hard to stop a train.
Well, yeah, we have a long summer of heat and humidity ahead, so keep your home comfortable with Trane, America's most reliable HVAC brand. And to give you more peace of mind, Trane is offering up to 10-year warranties on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. So to learn more about this offer and to find a specialist near you, visit Trane.com.
Well, it's the story that just keeps giving. Bill Belichick and Jordan.
Give me a break.
A major United States newspaper is reporting that there could be something happening very soon between the two. We'll tell you what that is next. It is 10:34. We're live at Social Taco. Come on by and see us. Doors will open up in about 25 minutes. We have an update from the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. We're right now, bottom of the fourth inning. Bit of a surprise, Landrum. The Missouri Tigers just got a solo shot against the Tide, and they lead Alabama 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning. Alabama has stranded 6 runners through the first 3 innings. So do the math. That's 2 per inning.
Pat, how about this blow-your-mind stat? Missouri baseball has now scored more points on Alabama than Missouri football did this past season.
That was a great stat, Landrum.
That is you went deep into the volumes of college football history for that one.
Sure did.
And Alabama only needs 34 runs to meet their total, Landrum.
Hey, this is Missouri baseball we're talking about.
That's a good point.
It's also warm weather, and that means boating season. Don't miss the Russell Marine Smith Lake Open House. It's going on now through Saturday the 24th. You can check out the larger, new, and improved showroom, expanded lineup of boat brands. You can get boats from Sea Ray, Key West, Sportsman, Nautique, Godfrey Pontoon Boats, Creval, and more. You can get special pricing on all inventory and 20% off in the pro shop. You register to win great prizes at Russell Marine Smith Lake, the open house. Open today all the way through Saturday the 24th. Get all the details at russellmarine.net on the events page, and you can follow on Facebook.
So the New York Times has an article that was published early this morning about 2 a.m., and it's under the title, Bill Belichick was always in control, then he met his Gen Z girlfriend. That is the title
What a headline.
of the headline.
That's a lot.
So if you start reading it, what's so interesting is that what I'm about to say is kind of buried deep in this story. And this is what the story says deep into the column, or the article, I should say. It says she has hobnobbed with celebrities, promoted political causes, and somehow amassed a real estate portfolio worth around $8 million. All of the bewilderment of the coach's fans and those close to him, many of whom consider her a distraction or worse. Here is the money line coming up next. And Miss Hudson has told at least one person that she and Mr. Belichick are engaged to be married.
What? Secret engagement?
Miss Hudson has told at least one person that she and Mr. Belichick are engaged to be married.
So is this like a promise ring, or, hey, I've ordered a special ring? Well, let's not make the announcement. Let's wait until some of this dies down. What are we doing here? But going back to politics, this would be a great path for her to politics. How many politicians? Starts as a beauty queen, marries into money, then all of a sudden becomes a philanthropist, and next thing you know, she's getting elected to office.
There are some really nice waterfront wedding venues I'm looking at right now in Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, really nice.
Are you wearing your P-Town shirt today or your Alabama Crimson Tide baseball shirt?
I'm wearing my Alabama baseball shirt today.
Of course you are.
Yeah. They're still losing 1-0.
Thank you, Pat.
So what do you think? Let's just be honest. Do you think that Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson are indeed engaged, as this story indicates?
If they, well, it's kind of a she said. I have to think that there might be a private. I don't know if it's I guess it would be an engagement, but
Why would
you not be wearing a
surprise me.
ring?
It would not surprise me if just the publicity and let some of this die down. It would not surprise me if he has already told her, I plan on making you my wife. You are who I want to spend the rest of my life with.
So that maybe that's what she has told someone, and that's the source of the story. It just says Miss Hudson has told at least one person that she and Mr. Belichick are engaged to be married.
Yeah, I think the source is going to be the mom's hairdresser. I think they got to him or her.
Okay. Why should he marry her?
They hear everything.
Because he loves her.
Yeah, I'm not gonna question if he genuinely loves her, why he loves her, the things he loves about her.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you wiggle out of this
I
one.
had to add an S there. I don't know all of the many reasons that she loves him. I think we can all be skeptical, but look, if they're both happy and they're not harming anyone else, then Godspeed. I don't know. I would get a prenup.
Well, that was my next question.
Absolutely.
Do you think that he will require her to sign a prenup?
I would. And if she fights it, this pun intended, cut bait. What do you think?
Do I think they're engaged?
Do you think they're genuinely in love, Pat?
No,
You don't?
I don't.
You think this is a ruse?
That's my opinion.
You think it's a ruse, or do you think this is, hey, he was on the rebound?
I think there's two people that's trying to get.
They're
He
both
found
getting
a-
something they want out of the relationship.
He found, in
Thank
his
you, Conrad.
opinion,
You're
a
welcome.
newer and sportier model.
Conrad just basically
Make a model.
synopsized my every thought.
Okay. They're both getting exactly what they need out of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's mutually beneficial.
Yes.
Which,
Yeah, it's like paying for something without actually paying for it, you know?
okay. But if she's already got $8 million in her real estate portfolio, think what that thing will look like after they seal the deal.
And then also in the story, that says that when she finished second runner-up, which is technically third in the beauty contest a couple weeks ago, that Bill Belichick did not clap.
You think he's just
He was disappointed.
he only claps when you
I
win?
mean, you made him stay at the Holiday Inn in Baytown or whatever it was.
It's like, you're supposed to be my Tom Brady, and all you are is Jimmy Garoppolo.
out of cabaret.
I was
coming
thinking
through
more
the-
Mac Jones, but
Oh,
okay.
yeah, there you go. That's even better.
So yeah, it just found this interesting how this just kind of like was thrown into the middle of the article.
Yeah, that's-
Just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a little sketchy. Why would you not just go ahead and double down on everything else that's happened and say, you know what? And by the way, we're married. I guarantee you it's a family thing. It's the son and it's the daughter, and he's like, I don't know if they're ready for this.
Well, so in this story, they also talk about, remember how it was announced that Hard Knocks was going to do a college team this year?
Yeah.
They were going to do the University of North Carolina. And in this story, it says the following. This winter, producers at NFL Films decided that a new season of its sports docuseries, Hard Knocks, would focus on Mr. Belichick's effort to build the University of North Carolina football program ahead of the 2025 season. HBO agreed to air it. But days before they were set to announce the series, Miss Hudson demanded she be granted content approval and partial ownership of the show, according to a person familiar with the deal. And because they were not authorized by producers to speak to a reporter, this was, of course, done anonymously. NFL Films then pulled the plug. So the story is that she wanted content approval and she wanted partial ownership of the show, and NFL Films said, nah, not happening.
And what do you guys think about this? If they do get married, as far as active college football coaches, she would be the most well-known college football coach's wife in the industry.
Very much so.
And I know he's not active anymore, but the only one that I can think of that everybody pretty much knew was Miss Terry.
And isn't that just a complete opposite situation there?
It really is. Sorry, Miss Terry.
Certainly
I
is.
did not want to couple you in the same sentence as her.
Well, we do have good news for Conrad and the Alabama baseball team. Into the fourth inning, the tie, they have struck for 2 runs in the bottom of the frame, and they now lead Mizzou 2-1 as we head to the top of the 5th.
There you go, Conrad.
2 down, 32 runs to go, baby.
And now Alabama has left 8 men on base through 4 innings. It's been one of those games where they just have not been able to get the big hit, but they finally did in the bottom of the 4th inning. So we'll keep you posted on everything that's going on in Hoover in regards to the Tide and the Missouri Tigers. The second game of the day, which will come right after Alabama, it will be the Oklahoma Sooners and the Kentucky Wildcats. That game will be slated to begin about 30 minutes after the conclusion of Alabama and Mizzou.
We're live at Social Taco. The door's opening 15 minutes from right now. And aside from the great tacos, $4, any mix and match, as many as you want all day long. Also, some of the new menu items that they have, like the quesadilla chilaquiles, the mesquite shrimp. We told you about the wings that they offer. If you haven't tried the new buffalo chicken pizza, it's amazing. The chicken feathers that Pat always ordered Great for an appetizer, all kinds of different things that you can get from the Chili Relleno spring rolls, the street fries, mentioned the smoked wings, but also the tablitas, if I'm saying that correctly. It's Social Taco, socialtaco.bar for more information. It's a pretty day right now, so come and enjoy it with friends here at Social Taco.
May have a little bit of good news about the UFL. We will share that with you next. This is Jocks 94.5's Three-Man Front. It's 10:48, Jocks 94.5. This is Three-Man Front. We're live at Social Taco. Great to see some new listeners stopping by and having lunch with us. Don just arrived. He will always be here to greet you with a big smile and a war eagle every time. Oh, there you go. You heard him. He's here. Hey, I do have some good news possibly for the UFL. So this last weekend, it was the most watched game of the UFL season. 1.3 million viewers tuned in for the Renegades and the Defenders. Now, that was the game that got cut off the last 2 minutes. Now, how brilliant do they look now?
Yeah.
You had 1.3 million viewers. That was the peak between 1:45 and 2 o'clock Birmingham time 1.3 million people tuned in. And, of course, then they had to go find it on ESPN2 because they had to air the NBA pregame show. So that is good news for the UFL, the most watched game, and it was 1.3 million. I mean, that's a pretty –
That'll help some of those averages.
Yeah, it's pretty significant. Now, that was the peak. The average, the full game average was right under 1 million. So that is a very good number for the UFL. I think they would really like to live within that space.
Well, if you're in the sales department, you're reaching out to your corporate partners. That's something that you can certainly pitch heading into next season when you're selling some of that time. And that is good news. Hopefully that trend continues and we start seeing that with some of the games that we have left, and especially in the postseason.
Update from Hoover, top of the 5th inning. The Mizzou Tigers have a runner at second and 2 outs. Tied lead the Mizzou Tigers 2-1 in the top of the 5th inning.
Those Missouri Tiger uniforms just look hot.
Yeah.
They look really hot.
Yeah, I think I might have gone with the yellow.
But you have what it looks like maybe the Sailor Tiger on their baseball hats.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Very sharp.
I love the Sailor Tiger on the baseball hat.
Very sharp.
You remember those mornings where you would be umpiring a tournament, maybe it was All-Stars or something else, you get out there and it was muggy and there's still dew on the grass and it's just hot and steamy and steam
that
just
humidity
coming off and you've got the first game behind the plate and you might have had 1 or 2 beers too many the night before. Maybe I'm just going from my own personal experience, but that was brutal. That was awful. That was quick hook for me.
Was it?
That's enough chirping out of you, third base coach.
So you had a very short leash?
No, I have no tolerance for that today. Yeah.
Oh, man.
These guys are professionals. I'm sure that's not the case.
No.
Those are some long days, though, for those crews. Now, do you know, do the crews, do they get multiple games per day? Is it one game per day?
No, I think it's different crews every game.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be tough if you were booking.
And the top crews end up doing more games during the tournament. So a story started breaking last night in college sports. First you had Ross Dellinger, then you had Pete Thamel. And so this kind of tells me that the same people, it's kind of like, it's interesting when you watch the NFL and you have Ian Rappaport report something and then Adam Schefter is reporting. It's all around the same time. You see it also in Basketball Insiders. But so last night, the conversation was about how the power conferences have now drafted a contract that they are distributing for the schools to look at that basically would be the new enforcement rules and require each individual school to sign it and basically bypass their right to sue this new organization. And officials from the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, and the ACC, they're circulating this draft of this groundbreaking document. It's intended to prevent universities from using their state laws to violate new enforcement rules that they're ultimately going to come out with that will be, I'm calling it the new NCAA, all right?
Yeah.
So what happened last week is Tennessee Senate Bill number 536. It is a bill that details in which the University of Tennessee, Vanderbilt, and Memphis and their affiliated collectives that you cannot go after them and sue them if this new enforcement arm believes that they have broken some type of protocol. Once again, saying that state law is going to be over whatever rules and
organizational law.
Correct,
yeah.
That you come up with. Now, according to this story, it goes on to say that if these individual schools do not sign these agreements, then they could be potentially ousted from their individual conference.
So basically, you just went through your lawmaking assembly, your lawmaking body there in your particular state. But here's how we're going to counteract that: you're going to have to sign something that says that you're foregoing that.
The document would bind institutions to the enforcement policies, even if their state law is contradictory to what they signed.
Well, and I understood the premise of doing some of this in this gray period, but moving forward, if they didn't come up with this new NCAA, every state would do it and say, well, we're just not going to have rules because the rules in our state say that we can do this, even if you deem it as breaking the rules.
Well, you remember that was one thing that Kirby Smart was yelling about last year, because the state of Missouri was one of the first states to basically say that you could start negotiating with high school students in regards to NIL. And the NCAA couldn't do anything about it because the Missouri state law predicated obviously, or precedence, I should say, over that of what the NCAA would throw out there. So according to this story from multiple people, it says the document is meant to be signed by all power conference schools, perhaps as well as others opting into the settlement as a way to bind the group and provide stability around the enforcement of the new rules. That includes most notably the decisions from the new Deloitte-run NIL clearinghouse.
Well, if they're going to go and this does go through and these schools have to do it, I wonder how much it's going to encompass, because you have certain states, and I know that I've been on my soapbox about this, and you have to some extent, but when it comes to NIL and state income tax, is that something that they could include in this? Because that's a recruiting advantage.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, it says here, the consequence for not signing the agreement is steep. A school risks the loss of conference membership and participation against other power league programs.
Basically, we cut your money off. The fun continues.
Absolutely.
You thought it ended with Judge Claudia Wilkin and her gavel. It does
it's
not.
just starting.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, lucky us.
Hour number 1 in the books. Folks are making their way to the Taco Terrace. Come see us. We're at Social Taco. This is 3-Man Front on Jocks 94.5. Well, they moved to the top of the 6th inning at the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium, and right now Alabama a 2-1 lead over the Missouri Tigers. Mizzou got a solo shot in the top of the 4th inning. Alabama battled back, had 2 runs in their bottom of the 4th inning. So right now the Tide, a 2-1 lead over the Missouri Tigers.
Our friends at Dobbs Ford want to remind you, if you are looking for a great new Ford automobile, you can do it there at Dobbs Ford. You're never going to meet a friendlier staff from the Goshen family, the husband and wife team of Joey and Rachel Goshen, their son Austin, entire team there at Dobbs Ford. I wouldn't promote it and put that as the number one reason that you should go and buy there if that wasn't the case. But also what they have at Dobbs Ford, they have Alabama's largest showroom selection, and right now they have Ford employee pricing on certain makes and models of Fords, and 90 days until your first payment. Alabama's largest showroom selection, you're going to find it there at Dobbs Ford, but also they'll beat any competitor's price, and check out the great pre-owned selection as well. Dobbs Ford, Parkway East in Birmingham. Go see and feel the difference at Dobbs Ford, and make sure you tell them Landrum from 3-Man Front sent you.
1-800-239-WJOX. Hope to see PG in a couple minutes. He joins us now on the hotline. Hey, PG, what's happening?
What's up, Jack? It's great to be coming to see you guys, and I want to give a shout-out and popping the top for my Bud Light friend, Larry from Shelby. And
that was sad news yesterday.
Amen. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. And we were losing them. Every time you turn around, it's seeing one of the callers going.
That's something that Paul and I talked about yesterday. When I arrived on set to do the show, he had told me that he had passed and that they were going to announce it a little bit later on the program. And before I left the program about 10 years ago, it was a situation where Larry had started calling into the show. And so I've heard many of his calls over the years, and I knew that he was in ailing health, and I hated to hear that he had passed away. That's some sad news. But as you mentioned, PG, a lot of the guys that helped launch us as a show many, many years ago, unfortunately, we have lost a great number of those.
Yeah, and he was on local shows some, too. I know he was mostly on Paul, but he did some local calling. Guys, I thought to give us some brighter moment right here, I thought you were doing breaking news that I thought might have been an engagement between Don and Kaylee. Then it's old Bill Belichick.
They have to go to another state for that to be recognized.
Yeah, probably California if he wants to get that recognized.
When it comes to latex inflatables, you can only do that in a couple of states that we know of.
That's good, man. That's good. And I've asked him to come to our church, with up there at CLC, so I may get the booger into church. So who knows?
I would love to see him there one Sunday morning. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've talked, and I've already put it out there that you need to come with me. I go with you everywhere. I did want to ask, what about that pickup? I know Conrad probably, was waiting on Boogie, but, that almost seals the deal for us. If Condon comes back, we are it's the new Nick Saban I'm going to start calling this coach, because if it wasn't Bruce Pearl, we wouldn't have had this coach. He was the one that mentioned to the Florida program that y'all need to look at, definitely Golden, and look what he's done. This is recruiting. All we need is Condon to come back, and we're going to be fully loaded again. So,
well, one thing's for sure. Boogie Flan, if he stays healthy, because he averaged 15.1 points, 5.7 assists before his hand injury. And that was a big pickup for Arkansas once he came back. Their little run they had towards the end of the season, because Arkansas would have been a completely different basketball team if he would have been healthy. So if Golden can keep him healthy in Gainesville, then that's a huge pickup.
Well, guys, and one more thing. I'm getting ready to get thirsty. I need to get up there. But I was going to say Sullivan's done a heck of a job. This is one of his better jobs in baseball. Even though we're not the records don't show it that good, but being 1-11, go 15-15 with all the injuries we have, he's done a great job. And I think we're in the tournament. I don't think we'll host, but he's done an excellent job. And I don't know if we'll be able to see him play today. The rain coming, so I was going to go out there.
Well, I will tell you this: based on what I saw yesterday, I don't think Florida is going to be able to host. But they most definitely are in the tournament, and just the turnaround that they've had has been just tremendous, because this was a program at the very beginning of the SEC season. There was a lot of people scratching their heads wondering what the heck was going on, but they have righted the ship, and they're one of the teams down the stretch that you just do not want to play.
Yeah, you want to go in hot, too. That's a good thing. All right, guys. I'll let you go. Enjoyed the conversation. Love it. And I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right.
PG, you guys should be good today with your game. I'm just going to play meteorologist, but I think you're going to be good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that would be
I
good.
think the expectation is some of the heavier winds and the impact stuff here for our metro area. What I saw this morning, sometime after 7 o'clock.
Yeah, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, that would be the one that I'd be the most worried about. That's the final game of the day.
And we also got to worry about if it goes in extra innings of these games in front of everybody. You know, I mean, you never know.
Well, the key is
Yeah,
this
and-
Alabama-Mizzou game has been a pitcher's duel, and it's gone pretty quickly. We're sitting here not even at the 2-hour mark, and you're about to get into the later innings. So that is a big help if they can go ahead and get these games going. I know the Florida-South Carolina game is technically not supposed to start until 4:30, but I would think based on the weather situation, if they could like move things up a little bit, that probably would be
If coaches
beneficial.
agree to do it, yeah,
Yeah.
you could go ahead and do it.
Well, I heard that. The wind blowing, there might be some home runs if it's blowing out, not in. But definitely would love to see
You
home
need all
run
the help
derby.
you can get in that ballpark. That is not a place that has served as a launching pad.
That's true. You're
That's a
right.
big yard.
Yeah,
It is.
That's right. Well, thanks, guys. Be up there in a second.
All
See
right,
you,
we'll see you in a
PG.
second.
We got that dollar beer flowing already. Gringo's already had 4 or 5 of them, so I was just seeing if he was paying attention.
He wasn't.
No. Oh, my goodness. Come on up and see us. We're located on the Taco Terrace here at Social Taco. I tell you every single day about Courtesy GMC in Trussville. The very best in the inventory and service is found right there in Trussville off of I-459 exit 32. That's where Courtesy GMC is located. Over 9 acres of inventory for you to choose from. Courtesy is there to help you discover just the perfect fit for your next vehicle, whether it's advanced safety features or cutting-edge technology. Courtesy and their friendly sales staff is ready to guide you towards the ideal choice. The inventory is just incredible, whether it's the Yukon XL, the Acadia, the Terrains, you're looking for a truck, whether it's the Sierra or the Canyon. They've got all those vehicles ready to go, not to mention the pre-owned inventory is going to be the deepest you're going to find anywhere in central Alabama. Take the next step by requesting a quote. Go online at courtesybirmingham.com or schedule a test drive. It's that easy. Go see them off of I-459 in Trussville, exit 32, or check out their inventory at courtesybirmingham.com.
Text line is open, 205-834-9450. You just heard PG on the phone lines. We love to interact with you on the text line as well. We get to that text line, and first up, Gavin, big Braves fan and a loyal listener, and we appreciate it, Gavin. He says, Happy Strider Day to all who celebrate. Spencer Strider Day. He makes his triumphant return after tweaking his hamstring during what was that? It was an in-between session.
April 16th.
Yeah, it was just a throwing aside session, just kind of like, in between starts, that type deal. Wasn't a bullpen deal. It was just playing catch.
Drink plenty of fluids today. Stretch.
Yeah.
Going back to Missouri baseball, who, by the way, Alabama just got out of a little bit of a jam. You had runners on first and second with 2 outs, but you had a swinging bunt back to the pitcher, so Alabama is still up 2-1. Missouri was not competitive last weekend. They were dominated all weekend long against Mississippi State, but prior to that, they had won some games and shown a little bit of life, and they're showing a little bit today. Go back to Bill Belichick and the New York Times story that, according to the person who wrote the story, according to a source, that Miss Hudson has told people that they are engaged and plan to be married. This one coming in from the state of Texas, everyone has a prenup. Explain to me what.
He says everyone.
Is that with are we talking state law? Biblically? All right. If you could expound on that, I appreciate it. We appreciate you listening there on the Jocks 94.5 app. Josh in Huntsville, and he said, and you think that Bill asked Jordan's grandfather for her hand in marriage instead of her father?
That's good.
He also wants me to do a Chapel Bill impression of him proposing. I will plan that one out, and we will do that at some point. Jamie says, young hot stuff will get you every time. Poor Bill?
It's undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Ask Adam. Brandon says, D.C. and Michigan not being able to host a playoff game because of concerts and soccer games make the UFL look like a joke. I would say that's just poor planning on their planning commission. They're extrapolating dates at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you would think that would be something that someone somewhere would have an Excel spreadsheet and go, you know what, let's look at the dates that's available for the playoffs.
Yeah. And Mike says, call DHR. Jordan is committing elder abuse.
Could this be an ageism case? Could you make that and make a case for that? Not your typical ageism.
I don't know if that would be applicable or not. We have a legal panel in front of us that might be able to tell us. Well, we got our doctor in the house.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Brian. It's Brian, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Sounded so confident. I think I'll just go with
Doctor.
Hey, buddy.
How about just doctor?
Or Doc. Hey, Doc.
Old sport.
He's got
That's the go-to.
He's got his scrubs on.
Yeah.
All right. Keep the text rolling in. 205-834-9450.
Update from Hoover right now. Alabama, bottom of the 6th inning. 2 outs, 2-1. Nobody on for the Tide. They have stranded 8 runners. That's kind of been the story. They had all sorts of opportunities, had a lot of traffic the first few innings, and they were unable to take advantage of that.
That's Dr. Bob.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Oh, you said, yeah, sure. It was monogram right there on his scrubs. Yeah, we're on air.
We're on there.
How
It
are
doesn't
you?
matter. We're just hanging out.
Looking good. Taking care. Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we're live. It's okay.
Yeah. 9 games is too much. We got a lot to unpack there. Okay.
Bob says no on the 9 games.
Well, he's a doctor. We listen.
We should.
Put him on the committee.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be the major story next week in Destin. More 3-man front. Yeah. We are live. Social Taco. Come on by and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Great crowd already assembled. Come by and see us. Take a late lunch.
Yeah.
Extended lunch.
Come on.
Hang with us. Dollar beer is flowing. We're live at Social Taco. This is Jocks 94.5. It is 11:16, Jocks 94.5. The first lady of three-man front here at Social Taco, BB, has arrived.
She classes up the joint.
Absolutely. PG, straight off his phone call a few moments ago, made his way up here.
Hey, was he just standing out there in the square?
Well, I think he was waiting for the dollar beer to start flowing a little bit heavier.
I was talking to Dr. Bob. He says the wear and tear, that bothers him with the 9-game regular season. I said, what about the play-in with the possibility of a 9? He said, I'm okay with that. So Dr. Bob has spoken.
He has.
Come and join us at Social Taco. You have already heard we've got half of the taco terrace filled up. There's plenty of time as we broadcast until 2 o'clock. And all of the great favorites that you can enjoy, you can get started with the chicken feathers. They're awesome. It's the juicy chicken bites. And they give you a compliment of the salsa marita, which I love, and the avocado ranch. Pat just puts a little bit of salt on them and goes to town. But they are absolutely wonderful. Guac, you can go the Guac 2.0, and they add some jalapeno bacon and mesquite grilled corn and some cheese that I cannot pronounce, but it's delicious. You can do that as well. And all the great selection of tacos, the Mexican pizzas, from the buffalo chicken all the way to the pastor. Go with that. It's socialtaco.bar. And don't forget about the Bottomless Tapas Brunch on the weekends, 10 to 2:30 on Saturday, 10 to 2:30 on Sunday. They have an amazing brunch, not only here at Social Taco, but also across the way at Soho Social, and also at Soho Standard. So check them out. Come and join us.
The NFL spring meetings are going on up in Minnesota, and the Packers have submitted a revised proposal to ban the tush push, one that will be discussed and potentially voted on tomorrow at the Spring League meeting. This iteration of the proposed ban is broader, and it mirrors the language that was on the books in the NFL from the league's start in 1920 through the 2005 season. It bans players from pushing or pulling the runner in any direction. Now, Diana Rossini from The Athletic, she's reporting that Roger Goodell wants it out of the game, thinks it's bad for football. So we'll see if the commissioner decides, you know what, I've got enough, in which they can overturn this decision, and this becomes a situation where it is not part of the game anymore. What's your feeling on that? You think it should stay or go?
I like there to be a little bit of separation. I'm okay with it at the college level, but it wouldn't break my heart if the NFL went away from it. What's the major contention?
Well, they just believe it's a competitive disadvantage to everybody else. And I bet you if Philadelphia had not won the Super Bowl last year, that this would not be a conversation.
That's probably right. I know that adds to it, certainly.
What do you think, Conrad? Do you think it should be banned, or you think that teams just should learn how to defend it?
I mean, I guess I've always looked at it like there's one team that knows how to do this really well, and I understand that they've, certain personnel that they have to have, but they've also had guys like Jason Kelsey leave, and they're still able to do it. So, I mean, hey, if they can do it, why can't the other 31 teams try to adopt it themselves and find a way to stop it? The Commanders tried in the playoffs when they got those 6 false starts in a row, if you remember
penalty
that.
After penalty.
If you can't stop it,
when do you generally see, I want the study of, I want down and distance. When do you generally see the tush push? It's going to be short yardage situations. But how many?
Don't let them get in short yardage situations, Landrum.
Yeah, but
right?
what's the conversion percentage of a quarterback sneak or having your
over
tailback?
Over a tush push? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I haven't seen those numbers, but that would be
like
fascinating.
To see that. Yeah.
Well, I just found it interesting because one of the stories that was making the rounds in Minnesota, that the Philadelphia Eagles literally, it was kind of like they on Capitol Hill. They were making phone calls to individual teams. Now, I know during the meetings, I think in February, right, a few weeks after the Super Bowl, I know Buffalo was adamantly against it. Like they want it out of the game. And now Roger Goodell, according to Diana Rossini, he wants it out of the game. And who does the commissioner work for? The owners. So, I mean, if he wants it out, then I would think that most of the owners want it out.
You remember when the Wildcat made its way to the NFL, and that was a really big deal? The NFL started adopting it. Now nobody thinks twice about it.
I remember when the shotgun formation was done by one team in the NFL, and it was the Dallas Cowboys. And they would do it in third down situations. They were the first team to have the shotgun formation.
So here's an interesting stat for you. So since 2022, which is the first season the tush push became like a big kind of deal for the Eagles, their success running that play has declined every season since then.
Okay.
Granted, it was 90% success rate in 2022. Last season, it was only 82%. So still very successful, but you can see, that's an 8% decline in 3 seasons.
Interesting.
So people are kind of figuring it out, or they've just gotten worse at running it, maybe.
So that is supposed to be voted on, according to Diana Rossini, as early as tomorrow.
Or they're running it too much, Conrad, and that's brought their average down.
That is a good point. It is. Somebody does note, though, that last year when they completed 82% of their attempts, of the 9 times that they failed, 8 times they followed it up on 4th down and were able to convert it. So there's really only 1 time last year.
Do you have a stat in which it details how far they were when they ran it? Like inside a yard or?
No, I do not have that.
Okay.
In front of me.
Because I've noticed over the course of the last few years, even when it's like, let's say, 2 yards, they'll line up and run it.
You say a little bit more.
Kind of extended out. Whereas before it was always, okay, inside a yard, you know what's coming. But now it's like they've extended it a little bit more out.
And maybe in that case, your mindset as an offensive play caller is, we got 2 downs to get 2 yards. Let's go ahead and let's run it. Let's run it twice.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's an even better stat for you. So since 2022, teams with either a tush push or quarterback sneak on third and 1 or 4th and 1, the Eagles are actually the 2nd best team in the NFL at that play. You want to know who the best team in the NFL at that play has been?
The Kansas City Chiefs.
The Green Bay Packers.
And they're the ones that propose getting rid of it.
Yep.
That's fascinating. That is crazy.
So they're really good at quarterback sneaks, and the Eagles are really good at the tush push.
That is crazy. Unbelievable. So that will be voted on as early, potentially, tomorrow. Update from Hoover. Right now, Mizzou's got something cooking. They've got runners at the corner, 1st and 3rd, 2 outs in the top of the 7th, and they trail Alabama 2-1. And a reminder that this is loser go home. There's no more double elimination. Every team is represented in the SEC baseball tournament, and it is one and done. So the loser of this game will be finished for the season, at least this round. Alabama will move on and play postseason baseball. Meanwhile, this is it for Mizzou. There is no NIT in baseball. They will not have an opportunity.
And if Alabama loses, you can join us for a special live stream after the show where I will burn my Alabama SEC baseball T-shirt in the parking lot.
He was very proud of that yesterday. He bought that at the little souvenir stand.
They're 3-27 in SEC play. You can't lose to Missouri to start off the post. You can't do it.
Well, my question is, what are you going to burn it with? You got a lighter?
I'll find something. I'll rub some rocks together, get some sparks going. We'll be all right.
Just wait until somebody pulls into the parking lot and go and put it on their tailpipe.
Ah, that's a good idea. I'll do that.
Do you remember when the surrounding area, somebody had backed their car into one of those places, and you had the embankment that was covered in pine straw, and it was the middle of the summer,
remember that.
and it caught on fire?
Caught on fire. I do remember that.
Be careful out there, people.
Yeah. So Nick Saban is speaking today at the Knicks Kids Foundation. Pretty interesting because he keeps being asked about the Presidential Commission. And this is what he had to say about it. He reiterated, I know there's been a lot of stuff out there about some commission or whatever. I don't think we need a commission. I've said that before. I think we know what the issues are. We just have to have people who are willing to move those and solve those and create some solutions for some of those issues. I'm all for being a consultant to anybody who would think that my experience would be beneficial to helping create some of those solutions.
I don't blame Nick Saban for taking this approach because I'm just guessing that Nick Saban doesn't want to be the guy that everyone is pointing the finger at when something gets passed or something comes down the pipe that a lot of coaches don't agree with, and then they come back and they go, hey, is this not the pot calling the kettle black when you were a coach, this and that? I think he wants to stay, especially with his other job that he has right now. And and having those relationships with current coaches and being able to access information, I think that's probably Nick Saban's reluctance on this. And plus, it sounds like Nick Saban really doesn't know what all this encompasses.
Yeah, and basically in a nutshell, he believes that a presidential commission is not necessary, but he is willing to help out if asked.
I think it is necessary, and that's not a criticism of Nick Saban. That's an indictment on maybe how we get the attention of lawmakers in Washington. I think that making this official and all of the window dressing and putting notable names on that panel to start the process, that's when lawmakers who can make a difference and who can enact legislative change, that's when you get their attention, unfortunately.
You know, water can find its way into your crawl space, bringing dangerous mold, mildew, and wood rot into your home, but APS can help protect your home's foundation, provide valuable storage space as well. The APS crawl space encapsulation system can stop water, keep those pests out, while lowering your energy costs all at the same time. The engineers at APS, they can design a custom solution for your home. Call them today, 205-951-9717, or go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. They can start helping you out today.
Yeah, runners at the corners for the Missouri Tigers, trailing 2-1 at the top of the seventh. There are 2 outs, but Missouri trying to tie it up. The first game of the SEC baseball tournament with a new look format and 2 new teams in Texas and Oklahoma. Single elimination today, single elimination tomorrow, and then beginning on Thursday, it starts the round of double elimination. We'll see the likes of Texas, Arkansas, and others. We'll keep you updated on what's going on in Hoover. We continue with 3-Man Front live from Social Taco here in Homewood. Come and join us. It's a whole lot of fun. Jocks 94.5. Wow, new listener joining us. We got a lot of listeners, but Michael just came up, introduced himself here in the break. We're live at Social Taco in Homewood until 2 o'clock. I want to correct something that I said. It is all single elimination throughout Hoover in the SEC baseball tournament. I thought it was the first couple of days they had gone single elimination, then double, but it's all single elimination. So if your team is playing, you need to be weather aware, first of all, but get out to the Hoover Met. You don't know how long your team's going to be there. Luckily for Conrad's Alabama Crimson Tide, they got out of a sticky situation with guys at the corner and 2 out, but they were able to keep Missouri from crossing the plate. So the Tide still leads, Pat. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2-1 in a pitcher's duel there at the Met.
Next game will be Oklahoma and Kentucky. That will start approximately 30 to 45 minutes after the conclusion of Alabama and Missouri, then Florida and South Carolina. That's the 4:30 this afternoon game. Later tonight, the final game will be Mississippi State against the Aggies of Texas A&M. Tomorrow, the Auburn Tigers, they will have game 4 of the day. And hopefully the weather situation tonight will not affect the final game of the SEC bracket, and we'll be on schedule tomorrow. We won't have to move anything and have 5 games tomorrow as opposed to having the 4 that is scheduled. And Auburn will be the final game of the night. They will play winner of Mississippi State and Texas A&M.
It should be fun. Mississippi State, they've been actually trending pretty well as far as their last few SEC series. I know that they played Auburn, about a month back almost, and Auburn got 2 out of 3, but that was a very competitive series, and I know that Mississippi State, they've gotten better. Still searching for a coach. They got an interim coach right now and going to make some changes. But you look at their overall record, and I know it's been a down year for State, but they're making changes. It could be a lot worse. You look around the SEC. They're still a very good baseball program. They still got a lot of talent, is what I'm saying. So that's not a gimme game. A lot of these matchups, and that's just from the top to bottom strength of the league.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this question, and Conrad. This was tweeted into the show by the Unhipster. He tweets into 3-Man Front and at Pat Smith Radio. He says, same question I asked Greg and Cole. What is the metric that you watch in the next 5 years to know if college football is healthy or not?
Ooh.
Do you look at financials? Do you look at TV ratings? Do you look at the number of different national champions? Do you look at which champions come from which leagues?
See, I was almost going like, how many different teams do you see in the college football playoff, right? Are we getting the same 12 to 16 teams every year, or are we getting that parity that we got a lot of this year? They'll let you know that while, the competitive balance, I guess, is there.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good metric to pay attention to. Also, as maybe not as big of a metric, but let's look at some of these notable coaches that are already sitting on a big pile of cash. How many of them say, you know what, I'm out. I'm going to go and coach somewhere else. I'm going to go and coach something else. Yep. Meaning at the professional ranks, or I'm just going to take it to whatever island in Florida or wherever off the coast of North or South Carolina. I'm going to go and hang out there, and you guys can have it. I've had enough.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Just seeing the different teams that are able to put themselves in a position, because I think that's going to kind of tell the tale moving forward in regards to this expanded playoff. Like, how is that going to be able to set teams up in different leagues for success under this new system? Because you're going to have the House settlement, obviously, hopefully very soon, could be this week. And then once that happens, they can move forward with the college football playoff expansion. We're thinking 16. Then the SEC can move to 9 games. They have a schedule agreement with the Big Ten, who also plays 9 games. So all of that, it's a domino effect. But I think within the next 5 years, I go back to what Conrad just mentioned, I think if you look at the different number of teams that are in a position to compete for that national championship, because let's be honest, up until a couple years ago, you probably pretty much could write down 5 schools, put it in an envelope, seal it, and then pull it out in late November, and those 5 teams would be in the mix for the college football national championship.
Yeah, and we're going to be adding teams. And so you're going to have more participants to choose from, or the likelihood that you get somebody new. But also you have to look at, I guess it would still apply. even with 16 teams, you would expect the Alabamas, the Ole Misses, in this last year, the Miamis, the South Carolinas, those teams to be represented, as opposed to more of the Indianas, the SMUs, and you take your picks, Arizona States that we saw last year.
Yeah,
that's a great question, though.
Yeah.
Thanks for texting it in or tweeting it in.
Very much so. Meanwhile, Alabama has just extended their lead over the Missouri Tigers. They just got a sack fly. They now lead 3-1 with a runner at second and 2 men out. So that is a big insurance run, especially in college baseball and aluminum bats. That's big.
Yeah, Conrad, how do you celebrate a win over Missouri?
Just a little golf clap and carry on to the next day. But I am sad because y'all are a little bit ahead of me, so y'all are spoiling my fun, and I now know how Pat feels.
Oh, good.
From the Alabama-Tennessee game about 3 years ago when I was able to do that for him.
Yeah, you ruined it for me. Just hearing you just absolutely collapse on the talk back.
Yeah, I think the wailing is what gave it away probably.
So golf clap for you with a win, but you're willing to burn shirt that you paid good money for in a loss.
Correct.
Okay.
One extreme to the other.
Maybe a little couch time with a professional might serve you well, my friend.
You know, my wife's been telling me that for a long time, but who has time for that?
I'm glad you guys are talking again.
That is.
Well, she just got back from College Station, so it's been a good little reunion.
Oh, well, I'm sure the place looks wonderful.
Oh, look who joined us.
She's got an eye for that kind of stuff. Hey.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Molly.
Hey.
How are you?
Where you been?
Yeah, what you been doing?
I was just driving.
It's been
Yeah.
You been flipping coins in the fountain out there since you just watched Goonies? You making a wish?
I sure
You
did.
taking them back? All of them?
All of them.
All of them.
Do you guys miss me?
Where you gone?
Yes, we did. We missed you.
Where
we
am I
missed you.
going?
We missed
No,
you.
I said, where you
tons.
gone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It took you a minute to find parking.
Yeah. But you know what? I made it, and someone so graciously gave me their spot.
Oh, that's nice.
So yes, that was. They started backing out, and I immediately put on my blinker. Said, "Nope, that's mine."
Great crowd.
I know it looks great here.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
got-
it's always a great crowd.
We got good folks. Michael, he's new. That's the gentleman there on the end. Of course, Dr. Bob, you know him.
Of course,
Yeah.
Yep. Good crowd. You know BB.
of course, my favorite.
No hat today from BB.
I know that's okay. Maybe next week for Patriotic Day. She
You got
told
to
me
change
all
it up
about
every
that.
now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just alter the look.
Yep. Well, these spring storms, I keep telling you, you need to call Abide Roofing because they're going to give you a free inspection. Just call this number, 205-922-7134. Travis Lloyd and his local professional team, they're ready to serve you at Abide Roofing. There's no strings attached. There's no pressure. They just want to give you an honest look at what's going on top of your roof. So call them, 205-922-7134. Trust me, folks, I had one little problem that turned into a bigger problem, and before I knew it, I was going to have to get a brand new roof. But Travis Lloyd, he was on my roof multiple times for hours at a time dealing with my insurance company, and I was able to secure that brand new roof thanks to Travis Lloyd and what his people were able to do for me. And then they put a brand new roof on my house, and it is fantastic. Looks better than the roof than the builder put on the house. So call Abide Roofing, 205-922-7134, or go to their website, abideroof.com. I trust these guys 100%. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. They're the real deal. Go by and see them, abideroofing.com, or call them today at 205-922-7134. We're live at Social Taco. More of your calls, your texts next hour. We're going to go to Charleston, South Carolina, find out what's going on with South Carolina baseball, and is this true? Bill Belichick is now engaged. We'll get into that next on Three Man Front. It is 11:44. Jocks 94.5. Molly Landrum, myself here at Social Taco. Come on by and see us. Great crowd as always on the Taco Terrace. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Conrad back inside our studios high atop Red Mountain. We'll have Ty Richardson joining us in studio tomorrow. Ty's going to stop by and see us as his Arkansas Razorbacks get ready to do battle, one of the top teams in the conference.
Hello. It'll be great to see Ty when he joins us.
I'm going
sure.
full tux tomorrow.
Are you?
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're going to get up early, lay your clothes out, make sure your hair's all nice.
That's right. I'm going to comb my hair back. It's going to be
Yeah.
feeling
You
real
going to wear
good.
socks tomorrow?
Oh, of course. I have to wear socks. We have
Paige
company.
has Bucky. You have Ty.
That's absolutely right.
All right, so Molly, I want to get your take on this story. It was buried deep in a New York Times story about Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. It says, and Miss Hudson has told at least one person that she and Mr. Belichick are engaged to be married. Do you
Well-
believe they're engaged?
Honestly, it would shock me based on that relationship and everything else we've heard. But you know what they say, love has no age. So if they want to be engaged, then that's their thing.
So do you, okay, whether we think that they should or should not be, do you think that Bill has popped the question? Do you think they are engaged?
See,
Why are you laughing?
I don't know. Sorry.
Why is that funny?
No,
I feel like
only
Jordan would have proposed to him.
see, that's what I was
Yes.
going to say,
Yes.
Conrad. I feel like it would be the other way around, or maybe
So
he
you
might
think
have
she, like,
Or maybe he might have
she get on
mentioned
her
it,
knee?
or she might have mentioned it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we'll talk about that." And now she's like, "Oh, we're engaged," but they might not be.
so it's maybe a loose conversation
Yes,
has
if
been
they're
misinterpreted.
not officially, actually engaged.
Yeah. Where do they? I got a lot of questions.
Where do they honeymoon?
No, this was
Oh,
not.
it's Provincetown.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't doubt the report or the source that said it. Maybe she told that person that they had done it, but I'm sure
Done what?
that they had already agreed that they were going to get married. They were going to spend the rest of their life together.
Okay, I didn't know what you were talking
See,
about.
I'm with
bliss.
what you said, Landrum, though, where they probably maybe had that conversation.
Yeah.
It just hasn't, officially proposed, but they've had that conversation. That's where it came from.
Yeah, they've had they've made the commitment to one another, and they've exchanged all the I love yous and you complete me's and all that good stuff, and they're just waiting for the right time. I don't know if there's going to be a right time now, given all the publicity and a lot of it negative that has come their way. What if he does it, the home opener,
Halftime.
on the logo?
After their first win against TCU.
Yep. And he's got the UNC marching band ready and on
And they
cue.
spell out Jordan.
Yep.
Be like, I saw that Boise State player do this all those years ago, and I always wanted to do it myself.
Yeah.
What song would be perfect for the marching band to play as he does this?
Here comes the bride.
I was thinking.
Oh, Gold Digger, obviously.
Gold Digger. That's the one. Well, the stories just keep coming.
Yeah. I just found it interesting, though, just the placement in the story. He was buried.
Yeah, just like, oh, and
By the way,
by the way, afterthought.
they're engaged.
A source does say that
Yeah.
they're engaged.
yeah. The story also details how she wanted part ownership in Hard Knocks. So if they were going to be at the North Carolina practice facility filming, she wanted to have some control, some editorial control. Also, she wanted to have a piece of the monetary pie.
Yeah. He's got a good attorney, I'm sure. He's no dummy. But a lot of times you get intoxicated with love. Who knows?
One of the other stories that we were briefly talking about was this conversation about a document that is being circulated in which the Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, and the ACC, it's a document intended to prevent universities from using their state laws to violate new enforcement rules that the College Sports Commission is going to come up with. Charlie Baker, who is the current president of the NCAA, he was giving a speech this morning to the Knight Commission, and he confirms that the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, and the ACC are in charge of enforcing the House settlement terms, including the NIL clearinghouse and rev share cap, not the NCAA. So when this becomes official with Judge Claudia Wilkin, it is going to be up to the Power Four conferences to basically now be the enforcement staff, not the NCAA.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, because it was already kind of understood that was the direction that they were going to go. And now, given the NCAA and their lack of success in courtrooms are really getting any kind of positive traction with anything, I think that they will still be the governing body of intercollegiate athletics when it comes to the other sports. They'll still run the basketball tournament for the time being, and they will still have an enforcement staff, though I have been let know that enforcement staff is not nearly as numerous as it once was, as you could imagine why. But they still take care of the organizational, the day-to-day, a lot of red tape that we don't think about. In the big bad NCAA, they handle a lot of that stuff, and they bring in a lot of money for that stuff. So I think that those continue. But as far as big boy college football, as some people like to call it, the Power Four, the major conferences that are tied in with billions of dollars, yeah, they'll police themselves.
So yesterday we launched a helmet bracket here on Three Man Front, Molly, and the Bear Bryant bracket, and now we have some official final results of the bracket and who now has moved on the bracket.
So on one side of the bracket, we had Alabama and Arkansas. And Alabama is the winner with 79.4%. And between Kentucky and Texas A&M, Kentucky is the winner.
And that's the white one, right?
And that was the white
helmet.
one, yes, with 58.5. So now the finalists in the Bear Bryant bracket will be Alabama versus Kentucky.
Okay.
Big Blue Nation.
So Big Blue Nation, we'll see if our friends at Kentucky Sports Radio, see if they get on board and try to, absolutely smash the bracket and try to get Kentucky with an upset over Alabama. So it's interesting that Alabama, that's, of course, Bear Bryant won the only football championship in Kentucky football history when he was the head coach of the Wildcats. So that will be the next round. What bracket are we releasing today, Molly?
The Phil Fulmer bracket.
The Fat Phil bracket.
Mm-hmm.
The B bracket.
Yeah, the fat, yeah.
Is that the one that'll have the black Alabama helmet in it?
No. All right, so Molly, who is going up against each other there in the Phil Fulmer bracket?
So we've got a little in-state rivalry. We'll have Tennessee up against Vanderbilt, and then on the other side, we will have Florida going up against Oklahoma.
Okay, so the Tennessee is the obviously
white.
the white one.
Mm-hmm.
And which Vandy helmet?
It's also the white one.
Okay, that's a good look. I like the Vandy. I didn't, when the Vandy V, when they kind of redid that, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I think they've done a nice job branding with that new V on their helmet.
No, that's a solid look. I said that you can't screw up a black uniform, an all black uniform with black. I take that back. I think that you can screw it up a lot of times. What do you think about white helmet with that, or does it just depend on white helmet?
Depends on the white
Just
helmet
depends.
to me.
Yeah.
But
By the way, Alabama just went yard.
they now extended their lead to 4-1, bottom of the eighth inning. So the Alabama Crimson Tide 3 outs away from advancing to the next round of the SEC baseball tournament in Hoover.
And the wind is blowing out, and that just went to straightaway center field, shy of the batter's eye, but I'm
that
just
almost went to
guessing
the high
tail of the
school.
tape. That was 412 feet. That's a pretty good knock right there.
So the winner of this game will get the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow morning at 9:30. Think Tony Vitello
Shows his butt? Yes. I love it. I like the fire of Vitello. It's entertaining for me.
I wonder where he'll be eating
It would be
tonight,
annoying if
Hoover.
you were pulling for the opposing team.
I was about to say, I would love to play for him, but as an opposing player, I would probably not be a big fan of him.
Is he the Chad Baker Mazzara of SEC baseball coaches? I was just trying to draw a comparison. That was the guy that we talked about. Love him if he's on your team. You hate him if you play against him.
I know where your head's at, yeah. Yeah.
Does Alabama baseball have a black helmet? You were all over the football black helmet yesterday.
Well, I was I was saying that yesterday. They should come out with the black batting helmet today, but I guess.
I mean, Alabama's wearing their camo hats
they
today.
Are. Yeah.
Do you like the camo hat?
Not as much as a black football helmet, but yeah, it's all right.
The correct answer, Conrad, is always yes when we're talking about our nation's military
I
and
mean,
the men and women who protect our freedom at home and abroad, past and present,
I am very thankful for that.
and future.
I was talking about the fashion sense, but yes, of course, always thankful for those that make the ultimate sacrifice.
Pat, why would you set him up for that? Why? Why?
You
That
think-
was just wrong.
Well, you think he would learn by now. These are all tests.
He's our Conrad. Come on.
If you could have just seen his eyes light up yesterday when he bought that T-shirt.
I almost, and Pat can say this, I almost went unbiased and got just a general SEC T-shirt, and then I said, nah, give me the Alabama one.
No, you got to stay on brand, bro.
No, he asked for it. He looked at it, and then he looked up, and his eyes caught sight of that T-shirt, and he was like, I got to get that.
Chicken feathers are here.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Oh,
Good
man,
stuff.
Smell these things. They're delicious.
More three-man front. We're live at Social Taco. This is Jocks 94.5. We are back. It is the beginning of hour number 3. Later on this hour, we'll go to Charleston, South Carolina. We'll check in with our good friend Scott Hamilton from the Charleston Post-Courier. We'll get his thoughts on the South Carolina baseball team. They have just endured an absolutely horrible year. It's interesting, Landrum, because they hired a brand new softball coach, and she has done just an incredible job. And then they hire a former national championship winning baseball coach who has not done a very good job. So we'll get his take on those two positions, and also he's an expert when it comes to North Carolina media. We'll ask him about Bill Belichick and the very latest, what's going on there.
Yeah, for sure. And one of our great listeners, Steve from Tuscaloosa, he has rolled in and he has brought gifts. Brought me the Chipper Jones All-Star bobblehead when he was over there just a few weeks ago watching that, and they had that promotion going on, and also a couple of nice Souvenir Braves cups.
No. This is a.
But Pat has got a St. Louis Cardinal. That is a very nice Tervis tumbler there.
Yes, that is outstanding.
Conrad is he's got something that
Molly's holding it up. Conrad
is in a FedEx package.
I haven't opened it.
Would you like her to open it up on the air?
We hope it's assorted socks, but we don't know.
Socks would be good. I need some.
Yeah. What if they're Yankee socks?
Ooh, that would be awesome.
What about Yankee stirrups?
Yankee stirrups would be great.
That
or maybe a
neat.
grooming kit.
What's it feel like?
Or maybe a grooming kit.
Feels like clothing.
Is it clothing?
Ooh.
Does he want me to open it?
Do you want to have Molly open it on YouTube right now?
Well, nobody can see it, so no.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, we got some
that's your end still, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just confirm. Fun.
Thanks,
we won't open it.
Well, we think we look great just here on this monitor. That
I think we've looked the best.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a shame.
Yeah.
Pat and I actually put makeup on.
Yeah. Put a little bronzer on.
Mm-hmm. Base looks great.
Molly shaved.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
she did.
Mustache is gone.
Stubble is gone.
Mm-hmm.
All three of us actually look halfway decent today. But, okay.
Missouri trying to rally. They got the rally overhead clap, or that could be, we know our season is almost over. Thank the good Lord.
Yep. 1 out. Runners at first and second for Mizzou. And so, yeah. Alabama just hit a guy.
By the way, we got some Mississippi State baseball fans downstairs, and they're wearing their nice Mississippi State polos with the SEC logo on them. So we appreciate all of our fans that are here. And if you just tuned in to Jock 94.5 and you're not from this market, this area, and you don't already listen, come and join us. If you're waiting for your team to play, come and join us here at Social Taco. We're upstairs here in the Taco Terrace. We do it every single Tuesday, but we got the mix and match tacos. You're going to meet not only SEC fans, but fans from all across the land. We got FSU Dave, who just arrived. We've got Corey is here. He's a big UAB fan. We got other folks as well. So come and join us, socialtaco.bar, for more information. We're in the square next to City Hall in beautiful Homewood, Alabama.
So Alabama is trying to extinguish the Missouri Tigers and advance on. And Mizzou now has the bases loaded, if I'm not mistaken, and 1 out.
Conrad, what if they go grand salami here?
I don't even want to think about it, Lindrum.
This guy looks poised. Well, that was the guy who just got on base. We're a little bit behind here on yours. What happened?
Tried to turn a double play, threw it right into the runner's back.
Yeah, the ground ball to the first baseman, and the Missouri runner from first to second. Ball hit him in the back. So with 1 out, Mizzou has the bases loaded. So the go-ahead winning run steps to the plate against Alabama.
In the back of the umpire's mind right now, he's like, this thing has gone so smooth. Somebody better win in the 9th. Can you imagine this thing getting tied up, Conrad, and then next thing you know, we're looking at inning 15?
But you did call it when me and Pat were talking around the 6th inning, like, man, this game's chugging along, and Landrum's like, oh, you just jinxed it.
It's rookie hour, Pat. You should know better. Conrad, it's kind of expected from you.
Okay, I know nothing, obviously.
Talk about how quickly the pace was going of the game. You don't say it. You don't say it in the press box. You don't say it among friends. You acknowledge it, but nobody says it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like, when you're umpiring and, there's run rules like 15 after 3, 10 after 4. 8 after 5. And as an umpire, the moment you mention that to your partner, you have jinxed it.
And what did I say to both of you guys? Now you've done it.
Yeah. You're going to be there for a long time.
Yeah. I don't believe in superstitions, but I don't even think that's a superstition. Oh, wow.
You're just
what
a little
snag.
stitious.
What a snag. What a snag.
Yep,
That's
diving
it.
catch by the first baseman. That saved 2 runs.
That saved 2.
Sure did.
All right, so now you got what, 2 outs?
2 outs.
2 outs, bases still jacked. Bama leading 4-1, Missouri at the plate. Top of the 9th inning. That was a heck of a play.
Yeah, you're going to see that on SportsCenter later.
That was Matt Olson like. All right. Oh, that's that was part of the Quick family. Did you see?
Yeah.
She had the hat on that said Quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wayne texted me earlier asking me if I was at the ball yard. I said, no, I got to babysit Landrum today. Can't make it out
You're
there.
doing a very poor job.
I know. Well, so Alabama down to 1 out from advancing.
This guy's already
Southeastern
homered today.
Conference.
Yeah, this is the guy that went yard. He tucked one inside the pole.
He's batting .239 on the season.
Yeah, but he's seeing the ball real well today, Pat. Looks like a softball to him today.
In this game, Missouri is 3 of 16 with runners on base. That's a 188 batting average.
Oh, he swung right through that one.
He's got a good swing, though.
Oh, there's Larry.
Larry from Homewood just showed
Larry
up.
from Homewood. He's here.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry. Good to see you.
Better late than ever. So we're awaiting the outcome of this Alabama game. It's a 1-2 count.
We are literally at a standstill. Put the game away. Can't get anything out of Conrad.
Nope.
Oh, yeah. How's that breeze feel? Swung under that ball by 2 inches.
Alabama fans on their feet.
Bama fans on their feet. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Oh, nice swing. This guy's all over it. He just fouled one straight back.
Oh, he did.
But he's chasing up.
That's right. Throw some high cheese. Get rid of it. The winner of this game will get the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow morning at 9:30. Another breakfast at the Hoover Met for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
So if Missouri wins, do they scramble for a hotel reservation?
I think that they maybe just they go and they pedal around there in the RV city. Just see if they've got some SEC teams that are willing to serve as foster families.
See if somebody's got an extra cot.
Yeah. LSU fans, they'll be welcoming.
All right, Alabama is trying to camp under a fly ball to left. It is secured in the Alabama Crimson Tide. They have advanced to day 2 of the SEC baseball tournament with a 4-1 win over the Missouri Tigers. And
John
that
Conrad.
clapping you hear in the background.
That was my
is
golf clap.
Conrad Van Order with his golf clap.
The shirt survives another day.
Yeah, it's good. We're fine until tomorrow. It was just today. Couldn't lose that one to Missouri.
Are you busting out that shirt tomorrow? Is it the P-Town shirt tomorrow?
Oh, probably have to go P-Town tomorrow.
Okay.
Or whatever, and whatever socks our wonderful listener got me, or whatever's in Molly's package that she has.
So Alabama will advance now to play the Tennessee Volunteers coming up tomorrow at 9. She really wants
She
to open
wants
that
to
up.
open this thing
No, I'm
so bad.
It
Molly,
looks, it
you
looks
can
like
open
an
it
article.
and
my goodness.
You
No,
can
I don't
open
want
it.
to open someone else's mail.
Well, you're trying to look through it.
Let me tell you, it's a federal offense.
It is.
Yeah, somebody got in trouble back in 1993 about that. The Antonio Langham situation.
Yes.
So Alabama, they knock off Mizzou, the final 4-1. And so Kentucky and Oklahoma, that will be the next game, and it is scheduled to begin at 1 o'clock. They have now called it. It will be a 1 o'clock first pitch between the Wildcats and the Sooners.
A lot of text are rolling in on the text line, 205-834-9450. We'll start coming from the state of Georgia. This text from one of our great listeners reads, Landrum, can anybody really verify that Bill and the young woman are actually in love other than mutual friends with benefits? No. I don't know if that ever comes out. And then he says, who cares about the baseball game? Is Jordan a friends with benefits thingy with Bill? I don't know.
She's getting a heck of a lot of benefits.
One would think. LR looking old today, and who will Alabama play next? Do I look old today?
How's anybody?
How can they see you?
I don't know. Somebody just texted. I'm going to call this number back, see who it rings. LR looking old today. Am I looking old? That might bother me. Joseph says, Molly, how long do you think your Tigers stay atop the MLB after surrendering 38 runs to the Cardinals yesterday? I added that. But how long do you think your Tigers stay atop?
Rest of the season.
Rest of the
way.
season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, year.
All right, going back to the new college football organization. Concerning it, that would supersede state law legally. I don't see how they can do it. The states are sovereign and supersede the federal government.
Well,
Well, you have to agree to it.
Yeah. I mean, if you agree to be a part of the organization,
then you're throwing all of those laws out the window, and you're saying we're foregoing our right.
In other words,
a lot of legal wording.
Don't sue.
Posey says there's a new Jordan in charge of Chapel Hill now.
That's good. I like that.
Oh, and Evan, this is the song that the marching band plays if Bill does propose to Jordan on the logo, the opener. The groom song, I'm too sexy for my hoodie.
I'm too sexy for my
This one reads, for the overall health of college football, number of programs cut or demoted to a lower level. That's what this listener thinks. Could happen or should happen, or maybe that's the metric we were talking about. What's going to be the indicator of the overall health of college football that we're going to start looking at? Corey says, what's the difference in a quarterback sneak and a tush-push? Quarterback sneak, you are not aided, correct? You're not getting the help from your friends, whoever that is, that's helping push behind you. I don't know if the blocking is any different. I wouldn't think so. And then now just random text coming in. We'll get to those.
So Alabama defeats Missouri 4-1. They advance. They will play the Tennessee Volunteers coming up tomorrow. Also, Molly, we have now launched the next portion of the helmet bracket. This is the Fat Phil Fulmer bracket.
Yeah, so on one side of the bracket, we have Tennessee up against Vanderbilt, and it is tied 50-50.
Oh, please, Vandy. That would just be so incredible if Vandy pulled the upset.
And as for the other side, we have Florida and Oklahoma, and it's Florida 85% right now.
Oh.
So you got half and half, and then a landslide pretty much.
Got to get the Sooners.
Not Vandy, man. If they pull that off, parity is here.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Nice crowd on hand at the Hoover Met for Game 1 this morning as Alabama defeats the Missouri Tigers, as Missouri's woeful baseball season has now come to an official close. We're live at Social Taco. Come on by and see us. We're going to be here until 2 o'clock, located on the Taco Terrace here, high atop Social Taco. More three-man front. This is Jocks 94.5.
Welcome back in. We're live here at Social Taco in Homewood. FSU Dave giving me a little bit of grief about a passing comment I made yesterday on the show about Florida State and just how bad and dreadful their football and basketball seasons were, respectively. But
They're top 10 attendance-wise in baseball.
that's right.
They're number 10.
Go and support your Noles, the programs that are winning at least. Appreciate FSU Dave, all of our folks joining us here at Social Taco. Wonderful crowd, and Michael, one of our newest listener, well, not a new listener. He says he listens to us all the time. His first time at Social Taco. And he said, by the way, you got me hooked on Mystic Beverage. Mystic Beverage, it's great. It's made in Blount County, Alabama. You can find it at your local Piggly Wiggly. I always go with the Lift Blend. It's got the green coffee bean extract. But whatever vibe, whatever mood you're trying to achieve, Mystic Beverage can certainly help, from the High Hills Delta 9, the Nirvanic, the Broadway Spectrum. It's a great alternative to alcohol, and it's safe to drink. MysticBeverage.com. Check it out and find it at your local Piggly Wiggly, and available in 4 great flavors: the blood orange, the southern berry, the watermelon, and my new go-to, the mango. Try it today.
26 minutes before first pitch between Kentucky and Oklahoma, so they kind of moved it up a few minutes. Originally it was going to be a 1 o'clock first pitch, but now they're saying about 26 minutes from now they will have the first pitch. Don was just telling us, if you're going to the Stallions game coming up on Saturday, the Stallions tailgate party with the Horsemen will be at 10:30 on the gravel lot. That's the southwest corner by Uptown. So if you have an opportunity, they invite everyone to come on by and see the fine folks there that is supporting the Birmingham Stallions. Earlier in the program, I did mention some good news. There has not been a lot of good news surrounding the UFL, but I will tell you that this weekend's game between the Renegades and the Defenders was peaked at 1.3 million viewers, which that is pretty outstanding. Between 1:45 and 2 p.m., it basically had an average viewership of 973,000. Which is right below that magical 1 million mark that they kind of like to see each and every week. This is also the game, Molly, that got interrupted the final 2 minutes because America had to watch the NBA pregame show.
How many people do you think turned it off after that?
And then how many people were scrambling
Trying to find it.
Yeah. on ESPN2. But that's a solid number. That's a really good number for the UFL. The weeks before, it had been around 600,000 to 700,000 watching, so that was a really good number. Conrad, you and I were talking about this documentary that I did not see last night. Once I got back from the Hoover Met, had some other activities going on in the Smith household, so I was unable to watch the SEC Network's special documentary, the behind-the-scenes look at Alabama football during the spring practice. And there's an interesting quote making the rounds from Ryan Williams, a revealing quote during Monday night's premiere of the behind-the-scenes look of Alabama's second spring training under Kalen DeBoer. This is a direct quote from Ryan Williams, the outstanding wide receiver for the Tide. He says, when Coach DeBoer first got here, it was kind of a culture shock. Just listening to the other guys, some people weren't bought into Coach DeBoer yet. Now that we're in year 2, basically everyone that's here, they're bought into Coach DeBoer and the rest of the coaching staff and everything we do. End of quote.
Yeah, I thought that was I thought that was interesting. It's not, granted, I don't think that's a huge surprise to anybody that's kept up with Alabama since Nick Saban's departure. But I mean, that kind of reflects what we saw, right? And part of I saw somebody that was talking about this, and it was, well, you look at the spring portal, right? You had 0 scholarship players enter the portal. That would kind of align with the belief that, you know, the guys that are there right now are totally bought into Kalen DeBoer. And, I mean, we saw that. I mean, take Caden Proctor, for example, right? He didn't give him much of a chance and decided, hey, I want to go to Iowa. I feel like I need to go back home. This isn't the guy that I came and was recruited by initially. And then he ultimately came back to Alabama, gave Kalen DeBoer a chance, apologized for maybe not giving him that chance up front. And you saw how that turned out. You also saw a lot of guys this year, your LT Overtons, Damani Jacksons of the world, right? These are guys that could have gone in the NFL draft. I think it benefited them to come back, but they would have been draft selections. And so it seems like there are guys that want to be there and be a part of it now. And even, you know, hearing some of the things we did last year about guys not showing up in time for meetings, right? That all kind of aligns with, people not being bought into Coach DeBoer, him having a very different coaching style than Nick Saban. And I guess it didn't resonate well with some people, and that's also, I think, a big part of why people are excited about Ryan Grubb, because Ryan Grubb a little bit more of that maybe old school, militaristic almost kind of coaching style that fans wanted to see more of from Kalen DeBoer last year.
Here's another quote from last night's show on the SEC Network, and this comes from linebacker Justin Jefferson, who's talking about last year's struggles may have made this year's buy-in a lot easier for this year's team. Quoting Jefferson, especially after losing 4 games, you've got to buy into something. Can't do that again. I really feel like it's a lot of buzz, a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement for what's coming. Really anxious to get to work, end of quote.
I like that.
Yeah, saying all the right things, right?
Yeah, I saw a quote also from Jamarian Latham this morning where because he's the only player that's left from the 2020 team that won the championship, and he said that this year's group feels the most like the 2020 team since then.
Oh, wow.
So we'll see.
That's a heady comment. Wow. Very interesting.
Maybe because back in 2020, most of those guys came back.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have the mass departures that you've had in the past.
The Courtesy GMC text line is open at 205-834-9450.
They are. And here's the text coming in. What contingencies are in place in case of weather delays in Hoover this evening? I have no idea.
I have not seen any printed. I have not talked to anyone that has given me an indication of what it would be, just looking at the schedule tonight.
Looking at NCAA events, a lot of times they have an idea, but nothing's set in stone. And then they will go to board members and then coaches who could be affected and make sure that everybody agrees on it and signs off. And sometimes they don't agree on it, but it's, hey, this is our best option. But I've not seen anything, so that would be premature to try to guess.
Yeah, the only guess that I would make is that if they can get the Florida-South Carolina game in, which starts at 4:30, the Mississippi State-Texas A&M game, whether you suspend it or you start really, really late, then you could come back and maybe finish it prior to the Alabama-Tennessee game that's supposed to start at 9:30.
And you go back and you get some rest, and
and then
you're ready to play ball at 8:30?
Yeah, probably 9 o'clock more than likely.
Yeah.
So that's just us spitballing.
And now, and be weather aware, and all of you folks, you got good sense. But I'm just saying that for peace of mind. I did see one of the meteorologists here locally say that this is not expected to be a long-lasting event as far as the duration. It's supposed to come
just a
through
line
pretty
of storms,
quick. A line of storms, yeah. And the last report that I saw was here in central Alabama, 7 p.m. to midnight. That was kind of the range that they were looking at, where we would most likely be affected by those 60-mile-hour winds plus and possible tornadoes. So just keep your head on a swivel today. Fat Joe says, Conrad, go ahead and let Molly open it. I want to know what's in the package.
Okay, I mean, Molly, if you have it there and
Open
it's
the
right there
box.
next to you,
Open the box.
you can
Okay, I'll open it. Conrad, I have your permission, right?
You have my permission. Just send me a picture of it.
All right, here we go.
All right, hold on. Let me do this.
Oh, you're going to video it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nervous.
What if it's a hammock?
Ooh, that'd be kind of fun. Conrad,
Not
do you
the
have a
kind you're
porch?
thinking about.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh, you're thinking, yeah.
They have
a fruit
MLB branded
hammock.
hammocks. I might have gotten one as a gag gift.
All right, here she goes.
All right, let's see here. Ooh, Conrad, this is nice. Let me get it unfolded. It is a Yankees quarter zip.
Golly.
What?
Look at that.
Look at that.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
Oh,
Steve.
that's awesome. Steve,
Steve.
thank you.
No, this is
so
Conrad's,
much.
Don Don. This is not for me.
All right, I'm about to send you the video.
That is so nice. Tell Steve I said thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Steve.
That is
Conrad
awesome.
says thank you.
I'd look great in that if it didn't have the NY on it.
It's nice and soft, too.
Conrad, you'll look lovely in that.
You will.
All right, Conrad, video's heading your way, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you, Molly. I appreciate you taking good care of it, and thank you
course.
to
I
Steve
will-
for being a great listener.
I'm putting it back in the original package, and I'm not going to touch it until you have
It's a
it.
2X, by the way.
Yeah.
Steve just told me.
Yeah.
But it looks very fit, though.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll, yeah.
It'll
be
shrink.
Well, Conrad's getting fatter.
Thank you, Landrum.
I'm kidding, Conrad. Jonathan says, I don't know about everybody else, but I really think Alabama bringing on Ryan Grubb is an absolute game changer. I completely see Alabama's chances as being much better with Ryan out there. No excuses. Fat Joe, you're going to have to come up here to see it. Sorry. Conrad's quarters it, that is. All right, keep the text coming in. I'm trying to decipher some of these. 205-834-9450. A lot of cars were leaving the Met. No surprise coming from one of our listeners after the Alabama game, but that means new cars coming in.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how many Kentucky or Oklahoma fans will be in attendance.
It's a track.
But you can guarantee that Florida, South Carolina will be a very well-attended game. And needless to say, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, the battle of the Maroon schools. It will be
more cowbell.
Yeah.
Pat, we saw there were LSU fans tailgating. So they don't play until Friday, and there were LSU fans tailgating yesterday afternoon when we were up.
Yeah, a guy yesterday said that they've made it a guy's trip for years. He and a group of his buddies, they get here early and they stayed the duration of the tournament.
Yeah,
It just means more.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Coming up next on Three Man Front, we'll go to Charleston, South Carolina, talk to Scott Hamilton, outstanding columnist for the Charleston Post-Courier. We'll get his thoughts on South Carolina baseball. What went wrong? Are they going to stick it out with their national championship winning head coach? Also, what's up with Bill Belichick? Is he engaged? That story just keeps giving us
smitten with a love bug is what's happened, Pat.
just so much. All of that next on Three Man Front. This is Jocks 94.5. Welcome back to Three-Man Front. It's 12:33. Jocks 94-5. Alabama defeats Mizzou, game one of the SEC baseball tournament, 4-1. They will face the Tennessee Volunteers, the defending national champions in baseball. That will be coming up tomorrow morning at 9:30. Meanwhile, we are just 12 minutes and 6 seconds away from Kentucky and Oklahoma in game two of the first day of the SEC baseball tournament. I was fortunate enough to go out to the Hoover Met yesterday and watch some of the workouts on some of the auxiliary fields and have an opportunity to just walk around the stadium, and just the improvements that they've made at the Hoover Met have just been tremendous. Every single year they just make it even more and more hospitable to the fans. It's just incredible what they've been able to do. Our next guest joins us from the wonderful state of South Carolina, the Palmetto State. Scott Hamilton, outstanding columnist for the Charleston Post-Courier, joins us now on Three-Man Front. Hope you're doing well, Scott, and one day, maybe when South Carolina becomes more prominent in baseball, maybe you'll make your way to Birmingham and we can treat you to some tacos here at Social Taco.
It might be a while. It might be a while. It depends on some decisions that might or might not be made this week. It really does. By the way, I just placed my vote in the Philip Fulmer bracket of the helmet challenge. I'm really enjoying that.
So who did you vote for?
Yeah, who'd you go with?
I went with Tennessee over Vanderbilt, and I went with Florida over Oklahoma.
Okay. All right.
And then yesterday, I actually, and I'm kind of a Kentucky guy. I actually went with A&M's helmet over Kentucky, and then I went Bama.
Okay. All
Do
right.
you like the white Kentucky helmet better than the blue, or are you the chrome? You like the chrome?
I like the white, but I don't like the interlocking UK. I miss the.
You just like the K?
Just the K back in Tim Couch days. Just give us the K and let's roll, man. We only need two helmets. I mean, God bless Nick Saban. What was it he said? We wear red at home and white on the road. We need to go back to that.
There was a point where Kentucky white helmet went black face mask. I don't know if you guys remember that. But then they alternated, and I think they had blue and then white as well.
Well, they need to worry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was just going to make a crack about Stoops needs to worry more about, trying to find the end zone than worrying about their face mask. That's another topic.
That is very true.
Or stop the run.
So we just tweeted this out a minute ago, and it's one of the topics that we're going to talk with Scott about. You wrote a column entitled "South Carolina Nailed One Coaching Hire but Badly Missed on Another." Tell us about the genesis of this column, what's going on. Apparently the softball team, that hire worked out pretty well, but not so much for baseball.
Softball team is outstanding at South Carolina, hosting a super regional for the first time in school history. They've got UCLA coming to town on Friday, and everything's just trending upward. It was already in pretty good shape, but they wanted to go to that next level, and Ashley Chastain Woodard, a South Carolina alum, she's done that. I mean, and the way this program responded, they were really good in non-conference play to start the season, but then the SEC scheduling gods had them starting conference play out in Oklahoma, and they went 0-3. But they got it together and put together a marvelous year, number 8 national ranking. The baseball team, not great. The baseball team historically bad, even though they had a pretty good year last year. The baseball team was in good shape last year. It just needed a little bit of a jolt. And they made the coaching change. But they went out. Ray Tanner was the athletic director, the man who would coach South Carolina to a couple of College World Series titles. He hires Paul Maneri. Paul Maneri's been retired for 4 years. He won a College World Series in 2009 at LSU, had wonderful success at LSU. But he had been out of the game for 4 years. And, fellas, you know as well as I do, whole heck of a lot happened between 2021 and 2025, man. And it's almost like he has no idea of how to operate in this new era. It's sad.
This is my question, and maybe it's only Paul Maneri that can answer this, but honestly, Scott, you're comfortable, you're retired. Was this a paycheck grab for Paul Maneri? I don't know why you would want to jump in, especially with the state of intercollegiate athletics and the war that is and the uncertainty that is transfer portal and NIL.
Well, here's what's funny. When he took the job, we asked him that question, and his response was Ray Tanner. He wanted to come work with Ray Tanner, and then in September, it was announced that Ray was being, and I'm using air quotes, reassigned in the athletic department. Now we have Jeremiah Donati as the athletic director in South Carolina. So it's just been a cluster all the way around. And if I'm Paul Maneri, he says he's not going anywhere. Of course he's going to say he's not going anywhere. He's got $5 million on the line that they have to take from him, on their own volition. If I'm Paul Maneri, I'm feeling like I need to maybe bail before my legacy gets destroyed. I don't want this to be the lasting memory of everything I accomplished, because he did have a wonderful career at LSU.
One thing's for sure, Scott, and we talked a little bit about it on the show yesterday, and this is a testament to where this South Carolina baseball program is. The regular season attendance numbers came out yesterday, and South Carolina baseball, albeit did not have the kind of season that we anticipated, they were 5th best nationally in total attendance. That is amazing. 251,414 people showed up, despite the fact that South Carolina was one of the worst baseball teams in the SEC in quite some time. Just talk about what the fan base is expecting right now, and will that help sway the administration's role in regards to what's next at the baseball helm?
Well, first of all, think about it. When South Carolina was not winning any games at all in football, they were selling out Williams-Brice. So it's a wonderful fan base. It's a passionate fan base, and it's a very devoted fan base. But they have high expectations. When you win back-to-back College World Series titles, this century, just the last decade, you expect more than what you're getting. And they're going to come and they're going to support the program. They're going to continue to support the program. But I'm wondering this. New athletic director, Jeremiah Donati, the old cliche, bring in your own guy, this, that, and the other. But the big hookup, or hang-up rather, might be a $5 million buyout, plus another $2 million to get a new coaching staff, to make that coaching staff go away. Are there enough people with South Carolina, alums, boosters, whatnot, who are willing to stroke those kinds of checks to have guys not work? Because remember, they've paid a lot in buyouts already. Will Muschamp was collecting checks up until recently. Does that give them heartburn, the idea of doing that? And I'll be honest, and I'll go ahead and disclose this. What we're hearing as of right now is that they will not make a change. We're hearing that they will likely not make a change. There'll be no announcement tomorrow if South Carolina loses to Florida today. But if they go and get their butts kicked really good, that might make some people reach for their wallet.
Hanging out with our friend Scott Hamilton, joining us here on Three Man Front. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham Hotline. I want to transition to football because you were talking expectations. We had over-under win totals for SEC teams for college football alike, Scott. I know that there in the Palmetto State, there are a lot of high expectations for Clemson, and rightfully so. A lot of high expectations for Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks. Lenora Sellers, that's a big reason why. Where are you on this Gamecock team given the roster, the schedule, and what it potentially looks like for 2025?
It's going to be a typical SEC schedule. Nobody's going to cakewalk, through the SEC. But with the way the playoff line's out right now, 16 teams, because you do have quality opponents, I feel really good about this team. My biggest question, they suffered so many losses from that defense into the NFL draft. That gives me pause. But they have a lot coming back too. Dylan Stewart's he's a first day NFL guy. He's going to go first round, assuming he doesn't get injured. I don't question Beamer. Go ahead. I don't question Beamer when it comes to the portal. If he reloads as he has in the past, man, I see no reason why this team can't be in a similar position that it was in at the end of last season, when it was arguably the hottest team in the country.
Scott Hamilton joins us from the Charleston Post-Courier, joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. So another favorite topic of ours with you.
Yes, let's get to it.
And see, Scott knows exactly where we're going. Exactly. So there's a New York Times story that comes out, and buried in the story is that one source, I guess a friend of Jordan, says that her and Bill Belichick are engaged.
My theory is hairdresser, Scott.
So I'm not going to ask you where.
Yeah, or nail tech. That's good.
I'm not asking where this information is coming from, originating from, but do you think they are? And if so, was there a prenup?
I tweeted that out earlier when I saw it, one word prenup. I wonder if she's putting it out there. I wouldn't put that past her at this point. I don't know if it's fair of me to say that. I mean, I've never engaged this woman. I'm just, like the rest of us, purveyors of this incredible story.
With her, I think it's all fair game, Scott. Go ahead.
It really is. I came across this, and don't ask me why I get emails from People Magazine. I have no idea, but I get.
Oh, come on, Scott. We know why.
I like to be on the perimeter of pop culture. On December 6th, they went to the red carpet debut at the Museum of Natural History in New York. It was a big to-do. Blah blah blah. Later on, she puts on Instagram, how incredible it was, and she's reflecting on that night, and she lists 9 favorite things from that event that are saturating her brain. Bill Belichick was number 6 after beet salad.
Good old beet salad.
I am, and now we're learning, I guess she was 19 when they met.
Yeah. There's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the people you talk to, and you describe the crowd, you describe the people that follow North Carolina. They're the wine and cheese crowd in the ACC. So how is that playing? I mean, the rest of us are fascinated by this train wreck. I mean, what are North Carolina people saying? They're not used to having this kind of fodder like we are in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, you have 2 types of North Carolina fans. You have the wine and cheese crowd who went to school there, put money into the program, and they live and die everything UNC. Then you have the T-shirt crowd, and we all know the T-shirt crowd, and they live and die everything UNC, but they're a little more like us, regular people. The wine and cheese crowd isn't talking a whole lot about it, honestly. They're more like trying to not act like it's not happening and wait until football season. The T-shirt crowd, they're all about it. They're all about it. They are talking about it. They're tracking Jordan Hudson's every move. They're making jokes about it. And this is their football coach, okay? This is their football coach. And I think what it does is it gives them a sense that having somebody such as Belichick being involved in let's go ahead and frame it as a toxic relationship. I'm no Dr. Phil, but this doesn't look healthy. Having him being something like that almost normalizes him and normalizes UNC and makes it not quite as elitist for the people who didn't go there or couldn't afford to go there or can't afford to go to games.
Scott, I raised this question. If they do get married and they make this thing official, does Bill Belichick take a page from his old buddy Nick Saban's book and refer to her as Miss Jordan?
Oh, God. Oh, God. He says we're on to Cabo after it's over, I guess. I don't know. When you think of Jordan, you think of Michael Jordan in UNC. And now we have to clarify. I mean, this is just preposterous, man. It's preposterous. And does he love her? Does he love her? I mean, I get the physical attraction, sure. But does he love her? Does he need help? I mean, has he had some kind of mental health crisis? And I'm not making fun of him. This is troubling behavior by a man who's 70-some years old. This is like Anna Nicole Smith? Remember that deal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is worse.
Anna Nicole, the guy that passed away, he was like in his 90s, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he was on like a feeding tube.
Was he?
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
But you look at the proportionate ages, though, about the same, and Bill Belichick is supposed to have all his mental faculties. I would hope so. That's what makes this more concerning. I don't know, man. I would love to talk to his kids. And I was reading about his ex-girlfriend this morning. Again, don't ask me why.
It's because you have a subscription to People
She's a lovely
Magazine.
woman that
That's
seemed
why.
like she had a lot of good stuff, like a lot of her life put together.
Yes, philanthropic, good-looking woman. Good-looking. You know what? If I were to, I'll be honest with you. I would go out with her.
Yeah,
she's a good-looking woman,
She is.
and she was still younger than him. So I'm just, and apparently they dated for 16 years, And they were still dating when they had their meetup when he had his meetup with Jordan Hudson. So I feel dirty that we're talking about this, but I can't help myself.
I know. But how long before we get Bill and Jordan with the his and her matching Harleys?
No, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. She controls him. There will be a reality show. There will be a reality show about their relationship at some point. It might be post-coaching, but there will be a reality show. Mark my words.
That is Scott Hamilton, outstanding writer for the Charleston Post-Courier. You can follow his work there at the Post-Courier website. Scott, always a pleasure, man. Thanks for spending some time with us today. And we will continue to monitor what's going on with South Carolina baseball as they get ready to take the field a little bit later in the tournament. As always, thanks, man.
Thanks, Scott.
You're my people, man. Send me some Alabama white sauce.
Will do. That is Scott Hamilton joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. More three-man front. We're live at Social Taco. This is Jocks 94.5. Great conversation with Scott Hamilton from the Charleston Post-Courier. If you miss any of our interviews every single day, you can go download the Three-Man Front podcast. Take us along with you no matter where you go. We were talking to a great listener, Michael, early on. He travels a good bit between Birmingham and Nashville. He says he loves the Jocks 94.5 app, turns it on in his car, and we keep him company every day when he is traveling up to Nashville. So we appreciate Michael and all the great listeners that download the Three Man Front podcast and the Jocks 94.5 app. Take us wherever you go. I was just telling everybody about Michael, telling us how incredible he loves the Jocks 94.5 app and watching us on YouTube.
Oh, I'm so glad. And, yeah, Michael and so many great listeners. And appreciate all of them joining us here at Social Taco in Homewood. And don't forget about brunch on the weekends. So if you're here this weekend and maybe you're an SEC baseball fan or you're just going to be hanging out and you've got a little bit of downtime, 10 to 2:30, the Bottomless Tapas brunch Saturday and also on Sunday, 10 to 2:30 this weekend for the Bottomless Tapas brunch, socialtaco.bar for more information.
Alabama, a winner earlier this morning. The final score was 4-1. The Tide used a 2-run fourth inning as insurance runs in the 7th and 8th to beat the Tigers from Columbia. Mizzou's season ends with a 16-39 record.
Ooh.
Yeah. Overall, Bama 41-15. They'll play the 8th seed Tennessee on Wednesday. The winner of that second-round matchup will play Texas, who's the top seed in Hoover this week, and the projected number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament by Baseball America. So the win by Alabama keeps the Tide chances at hosting a first-round NCAA tournament region alive. According to D1 Baseball, before today, they were going to be traveling to the Clemson region as the number 2 seed. So if Bama keeps winning, there's still the possibility that they could host, but they've got to do a little work the next couple of days.
Well, you can win with our friends at Stark Exterminators. Stark Exterminators, over 61 years. They've been family-owned and operated, just wonderful people. One of their great team members come out to your home or place of business today. Set up your free pest inspection by simply calling 855-START now or go to starkexterminators.com. They're going to take care of you. Your satisfaction as a customer is absolutely guaranteed. Termites, roaches, ants, stinging insects, all the things that drive you crazy, especially when you're trying to have fun with your family and friends out in the yard. Stark Exterminators. Call today for the free home or business pest inspection. 855-START now or go to starkexterminators.com. And always tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
We'll give you an update from Hoover. Some Pat Ponders coming up next on Three Man Front. This is Jocks 94.5. We begin hour number 4, Jocks 94.5, day 1 of the SEC baseball tournament out at the Hoover Metropolitan Stadium. Alabama victorious in game 1, 4-1 against the Missouri Tigers. Right now, the Kentucky Wildcats taking on the Oklahoma Sooners in game 2 of today's action. So far, they are scoreless there at the Hoover Met for game 2. Bama will play the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow. That will be a 9:30 a.m. first pitch. Later on this afternoon will be Florida against South Carolina. Mississippi State and Texas A&M will be the nightcap. And then, as I mentioned, tomorrow morning, Tennessee will take on Alabama at 9:30, followed by Georgia, who will await the winner of the Kentucky-Oklahoma game. The Rebels of Ole Miss, they will play at 4:30 tomorrow against the winner of Florida-South Carolina. And then the nightcap, the Auburn Tigers, will get the winner of the Battle of the Maroons, Mississippi State and Texas A&M this afternoon. That's game 4. So that gets you up to date on what's going on at the Hoover Met.
Yeah, it was good for Oklahoma to avoid a little bit of first inning trouble. You had some Wildcats. The bases were full of Wildcats, but Oklahoma now batting as they got this one started a little bit earlier. So hopefully the weather holds off as long as we can get it, and we don't have too much of a shuffle when it comes to the schedule, especially for Mississippi State and Texas A&M.
And I know a lot of our listeners in North Alabama listening on the Jocks 94.5 app or on the UMP. There's some heavy thunderstorms and some tornadic activity in the northwestern portion of the state. So stay weather aware this afternoon. And I know many of us in central Alabama will be dealing with that a little bit later on tonight. Braves and Nationals tonight. The Braves had yesterday off. They'll take on the Nats and Mitchell Parker. Parker is 3-3 on the year, a 4.32 ERA. He'll be going up against a very familiar name for Atlanta Braves fans, Spencer Strider.
Who?
Spencer Strider. He's only thrown 5 innings this year.
Who is this mustache man you speak of?
He is 0-1 with a 3.60 ERA, but that's only based on 5 innings.
I do want to ask you, because I got a Prize Picks matchup coming up, and it's going to feature Spencer Strider. He's one of those goblin bets. I'll just do it right now. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Prize Picks, you can interact and you can have fun with daily fantasy sports all season long, and we are going professional baseball tonight. And Prize Picks, first of all, you download the app, you set up your account, you enter promo code WJOX, and your first $5 play on a particular player projection, win or lose, you get $50 instantly kick back to your account. That's right. Fill out all your information on the Prize Picks app. Do all of that. WJOX promo code. When you do that, your first $5 play, win or lose, you get $50 instantly back to your account. And today is a Taco Tuesday. You also have the Demon and Goblin bets, and that's where we're going today. And you'll figure it out once you get to Prize Picks, and they make it pretty easy. But the Goblin bet, it's got like a little green goblin emoji that will come up on the player's picture like you see here. Mm-hmm. What that means is it's easier to win, but there's lower payout multipliers. So tonight, this is why this makes sense. Plus, he's coming off an injury. Spencer Strider, 3.5 strikeouts, more or less.
More.
I'm going more there, too. How about for you, Pat? Eric Fetty, this is not a goblin bet. 4.5 strikeouts. You going more or less?
I'm going less.
Less?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go less on those, and we'll go more on Striders. So if both of those come through, I'm a winner. That's right. Just 2 correct player projection. You can be a winner, too. Prize Picks, download the app today. Promo code WJOX to $50 instantly after your first $5 play, win or lose. We appreciate our friends at Prize Picks.
I want to remind everybody about our helmet bracket. That's our poll questions for the next few days. Molly, recap what happened yesterday's bracket and what's going on currently that our listeners can go vote on as we speak.
So yesterday we had the Bear Bryant bracket, and it was Alabama against Arkansas and then Kentucky against Texas A&M. Alabama beat Arkansas with almost 80%, and Kentucky beat A&M with almost 60%. Now today we have the Phil Fulmer bracket, where we have an in-state rivalry with Tennessee and Vanderbilt, and then Florida up against Oklahoma. And it's been close between UT and Vandy, but right now Vanderbilt is winning with 52%. Florida is still beating out Oklahoma with almost 86%.
Wow. So go vote at the number 3 man front on Twitter. What bracket's coming up tomorrow? Today was the Fat Phil bracket. What's tomorrow?
I believe tomorrow is Pat Dye.
Pat Dye bracket tomorrow, and then we'll wrap this portion of the voting up.
The hindsight is 50-50 bracket.
Yes, and then on Thursday it's the
Coach O.
Yeah, Coach O, the Ed Orgeron bracket. So we'll see what takes place. Each and every day brought to you by Courtesy GMC. We'd like to do something called Pat Ponders. I come up with 5 questions. They give me answers. This is next now on 3 Man Front.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. All right, question number 1. I think we all can agree that Kentucky is considered a blue blood in SEC basketball. But which SEC school or schools do you consider a blue blood in baseball?
LSU.
Texas.
Yeah, I got to count them, I guess. I'm very tempted to say Mississippi State, but I'm going to come just shy of saying Mississippi State.
What about Vanderbilt
No.
as of recent?
Nope.
Florida, yes or no?
Nope.
See, I think LSU and Texas I would definitely feel comfortable with.
LSU and Texas, I feel really, and my next would be Mississippi State. I was on the verge of saying State, but
I like that. That would be, if we wanted a nice top 3, I think LSU, Texas, Mississippi State, I think that's where that'd be right.
Right now, if Mississippi State would be like the yellow and blue right before they merge, or the, what would that be? Yellow and blue make green. Never mind. Forget that. Yeah, they're right there on the cusp. Do you have another one?
I agree with Molly. I think Vanderbilt.
Blue blood, though. You got to go back. It's just recent success.
I didn't say that they were like top 2 or top 3.
I know you didn't.
But
No.
But when I think blue blood, I think, and this is why this is always a fun conversation.
you're thinking longevity.
Longevity. And that program has had, even the Smoke Laval years, that program has had sustained success. Not by LSU fan standards, because they expect to dogpile in Omaha every year. But no, that's a program that's done it at a high clip for a long, long time. Would you consider Florida State a blue blood of college baseball?
They're right up there.
I would think Florida State and North Carolina from the ACC would probably be considered blue bloods.
Well, now I would have said Miami would have been in that conversation. By the way, they got beat this morning, 12-2.
Ooh,
they got run ruled.
Ooh, it's not optimal.
No.
All right, question number 2. Name a current college or NFL head coach that makes you stop what you're doing and listen every time they speak.
Did you say former?
Could be.
Oh.
Former or current.
For me, Dan Campbell.
He's a good one. Molly quick out of the gate with her answer.
I just usually like what he has to say.
Well, I don't want to take the because Nick Saban and for me, Kalen DeBoer would be easy. I mean, for any of us, Kalen DeBoer and Hugh Freeze, because that's part of our job clearly. I don't know. I like listening to Lane. Anytime Lane, for another SEC coach, I really enjoy hearing what Lane has to say a lot of the time. I will say, not in college anymore, but now in the NFL, I'll always listen to a good Jim Harbaugh clip. He's always good for something.
Oh, Christopher, will you take that shirt? He's leaving. That's his shirt. Thank you. Sorry, that's the only way to do it.
It's fine.
Coach for me. Oh I'll go NFL too, Molly. I'll go Bill Cowher. I respect the heck out of that dude.
It's a good one.
Those are good ones. Once again, Dan Campbell's must hear.
I think so too.
I don't care
Even
what
if
he's
I
talking
wasn't a
about.
Lions fan, I just think he's fun to listen to.
Pat, Phil Fulmer? No.
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 All right, next question. The last NFL barefoot field goal occurred on December 31st, 1990. We know what Conrad enjoys doing with his bare feet.
Yes. And he is needing toe to something brown, not a football.
But my question is, what's your favorite pastime when you have no socks or shoes on?
The things that you ponder at night, Pat.
Dancing in my living room, Pat.
I was thinking dancing too, actually, because I always used to dance with just one shoe on. Because the shoes are really slippery sometimes, and you have like better like grip on the floor when you only have like one half shoe on, and your other foot's barefoot.
Mine is, walking on the beach.
It's a good one.
Yeah, see, I was thinking beach, sitting by a pool, something like that. But even like, for Landrum and Molly yesterday when we were walking up at the Hoover Met, and Pat was talking to me about the grass and the sand that was in it and something about the grass. And I just told Pat, I said, yeah, this is good barefoot running grass right here. Like, that's the kind of stuff when you have walking through grass bare feet, when you don't have any concerns of like a sticker or a thorn or something like that going in your foot is incredible feeling.
Yeah, to me, after freshly cut grass and you're walking barefooted, turn the sprinklers on.
Oh, so good.
I thought you would have gone fish show. Grilled cheese, barefoot, Pat, writing down the set list, texting it out to his buddies. Maybe not. I was going to, that's for the show that we used to do here. Prime time.
Yes. At night, the nighttime version of our show.
It involved a dojo.
Yes, that is correct. All right, next question. Do you guys think it's trashy or totally fine to wear pajamas to the grocery store?
If you have the self-confidence to do that and you're not worried about what other people are going to think, then absolutely go for it. And I also say that because I've done it before.
If it is too much, now there are extenuating circumstances.
Now wait a second. Why did you, Conrad, go to the grocery store with your pajamas on?
Oh, because I just didn't feel like putting on real clothes.
If I was really sick and I don't have anybody to go and to get stuff, and I'm wearing my flannel PJs, and no, that's fine. But
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do. And no, if you're too
this is
lazy,
an epidemic that I'm seeing.
If you're too lazy to put on a pair of gym shorts and an old ratty tee, no. What about the? It's not exact. Well, it's a shoe that you would say is a house shoe.
Like the slippers that have the. I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about.
But they have the grip on the soles, where it could. You don't want to wear them when it's wet outside, but I think you could get away with that, right? It's like a slip-in.
Yeah, I think so.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Have you ever done it?
Wear pajamas or slippers?
Pajamas to the grocery store.
I don't think so.
I feel like college girls, that's the demographic where you see a lot of you will see pajamas in a grocery store.
I don't think I ever did that though.
I'm painting with a very broad brush here, but it does seem like that would be one of those groups.
Now, on days where I haven't felt well and I've had to run to
that's totally
the store,
different.
I'll at least throw on, like you said, like an old T-shirt and some shorts.
Yeah, but if you're wearing,
But no, I don't think I've ever gone in my pajamas, though.
I've gone in where I've worn flannel pajamas, bottoms at least.
Okay,
Like
let me
a-
clarify.
like a
When I'm saying
pullover.
pajamas, I'm talking bottoms. Like, I'm not wearing a full nightgown or whatever.
You wear a nightgown?
No,
He has
you
a little,
don't know.
cap and his
like,
little lantern.
yeah, exactly.
Just a little note,
Molly.
though. Make sure that flannel pajamas, you're wearing underwear.
Let me ask BB.
It's very freeing, though, Landrum.
It's
too freeing, but it's very freeing.
That's how you get tased and arrested. On aisle 6 at Publix.
I got to ask BB this.
This is definitely a BB question.
Yeah. Okay, BB.
How exciting is this?
Oh, this is fantastic.
I can hear it in your voice.
All right, so I asked him, is it trashy or totally fine to wear pajamas at the grocery store?
Oh, that's totally out of the question. If you don't go shopping like this, you're not going shopping. I mean,
to the nines.
Well, no, not to the nines, but I try very hard not to go out looking like
Conrad.
Well, I never know who I'm going to see.
True.
And
that's true.
I'm a substitute teacher, and I see a lot of people, and I see a lot of the kids, and they see me one way, and so
Sure.
To me, it's important, and it's also important that it makes me feel good when I go out looking nice.
Yeah.
So as far as pajamas are concerned, they should never leave your house. Ever, ever, ever.
Okay.
Ever.
I did have an extenuating circumstance, like you're really, really sick.
Well,
Nobody can bring you anything.
That's totally different.
Yeah.
But we're talking about people that.
We're talking about normal
Okay.
behavior. I mean, I've seen where these, kids wear pajamas to high school. I mean, I'm sorry.
Kids.
I'm all for it. Put them in uniforms. I mean, I don't want to see that stuff.
No.
No. Make them dress appropriately, and they will carry that with them all their
At
lives.
least dress like you halfway give a rip.
Like you care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the
Okay.
future of America, dang it.
Okay, so are you ready for your question?
I am. I hope it's the one about clothes.
No, it's about a party.
Oh, that one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
You'll have to improvise a little here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll have to give it some thought, Lander.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Are you listening, Molly? Okay.
Are we playing roles?
No.
Okay. Here's the BB question of the day. Your teenager holds a flash party at your house on a Saturday when you're out of town overnight, and yes, there is alcohol involved. He or she thinks you won't find out because the house was cleaned up and there was no damage. Of course, this is a misguided assumption, so what form of discipline would you hand out?
Wait, okay, so my teenage son or daughter had a house party with alcohol while I was gone, and I'm now
Correct.
punishing them because I found out about it?
You found out about it, but there was nothing damaged to your
Nothing
house.
damaged.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nobody went to the hospital. Nobody got arrested. They just had a party. They did a good job of cleaning up after it, and they tried to keep it private and totally not so that you wouldn't be aware that they did anything while you were gone.
Yeah, but you still put me at a high level of risk and liability. No phone, no car, 1 week, and I got a list of stuff for you to do.
I like it.
Yeah, I would make them do some stuff around the house, but I would start off. It would be more of like just subtly finding a way to let them know, because they think, oh, I got away with this, haha. Just finding ways to subtly let them know that you were aware of the situation. I don't know. I feel like I would be a little more lax in that kind of. If nothing went wrong, nobody
And it
got
wasn't
hurt.
just drinking. It wasn't just drinking. We know it wasn't just drinking.
Correct.
We know what they were doing.
Exactly.
Yep. I'm burning everything.
I'd be a little more lax, I think.
Yep.
Burn.
I would start by notifying the parents of all the children that were there. And I would probably make my child do community service for
There you go.
at least
I like that.
a month.
Mhm.
And if they're a driver, they would lose their license privileges.
Scare them straight.
Scare them straight.
Yep.
Dang, I am
too
thankful for my
serious.
mom right now.
You want to be that way, you go do that when you get to college, and I don't have to know.
Maybe if you
But
got a
when
buddy in law enforcement, maybe a little incarceration.
Exactly.
Huh?
If
Holding cell.
you're going to put me in a situation where I carry that liability, and I'm the homeowner, no, you're going to learn the hard way that you will never do this again in my house.
Maybe I'd bring out options. 6 hours in a holding cell or or you get
Wow.
tased. You get tased.
Wow.
But I think it has to be serious because we read about these situations a lot
Yeah.
where these things happen, and the
I know
parents,
what I did. I know what I did.
Yeah, and the parents who are the homeowners are the ones that end up getting in trouble with law
Absolutely.
enforcement, and it becomes a cost to them. There's fines involved. There's all kinds of situations where they get in trouble. So, I mean, obviously the most important thing you do is you teach your children never to do this to begin with, but they're going to pull this crap.
But if you do it, you better do it at somebody else's house.
That's right. Go somewhere else.
I never got in trouble, so I never had to worry about that.
You're such a good girl, Molly.
I really didn't do anything in high school.
You worked at a liquor store.
I did. That doesn't mean I consumed it, though, regularly.
She added regularly.
Well, I'm old enough to say that I would have gotten the
Snobs.
the belt. You name it, I would have got the belt.
Tastes good.
I would have got everything. There would have been physical punishment for me.
Yep. All right. Thank you, BB.
Thank you.
Always great questions. I'm glad that we agreed how I would punish my fictitious child, my make-believe child. Who knows?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be a bad parent now.
They're going to incarcerate him.
Yeah, Conrad, you're going to be the cool parent. You're going to be the one that shows up in the New York Post in one of those headlines for repeatedly allowing underage people to come to your house.
I'm just
Conrad's
going off
out
of my
buying it.
experience as a high schooler, and
Commit
stuff like
debauchery.
that happened, and nothing bad ever happened. We all turned out fine. That's my perspective.
I did a
From
free
my
fall
experience.
from a walkway that went across a big open, like a really high ceiling house, and luckily they caught me. But then a guy did it after me, and they didn't catch him. Stupid things happen, man, when you do stupid things.
That's today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trustful. CourtesyBirmingham.com is the website.
We continue. We're live here at Social Taco in Homewood. More to get to here on this Tuesday. Three-man front and Jocks, 94.5.
We're live at Social Taco, Jocks 94.5. If you've got any thoughts on the Pat Ponders questions today, we welcome your input either on Twitter at the number 3-man front or 205-834-9450.
Well, we have a long summer of heat and humidity ahead, so keep your home comfortable with Train, America's most reliable HVAC brand. And to give you more peace of mind, Train is offering up to 10-year warranties on parts and labor on select Train home comfort systems. So to find out more about this offer and to find a specialist near you, visit Train.com.
So the Alabama Crimson Tide, they went earlier today 4-1 against the Missouri Tigers. And the Mizzou Tigers finished the season 3-28 in the SEC.
Oh.
That's the quote.
We've already seen a number of Atlanta Falcons jokes.
Yep.
Even though they're not connected in any way.
3-28. That is tough. Golly, for Missouri basketball, but they rebounded this year.
They did.
Missouri baseball, I don't know really where. I mean, what? Are you having a talk with your team after that? Or
Who's left?
Yeah.
I mean,
guys, this has been a very this is one of my favorite groups, and I know the record doesn't indicate it, but
now this is you guys need to hit the transfer portal. Here's a matter of fact, you walk in the locker room and you've got all the transfer portal files ready to go.
We don't have the money to pay you, and if we did, I wouldn't pay for a darn single one of you.
No, you lost 28 games in the Southeastern Conference in baseball. No, we're good. We're gonna move on. There's plenty of junior colleges in Kansas. I can go recruit kids to come play baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very disappointing season to a proud baseball program that has had guys like Scherzer and company play for them. So,
was that and I haven't done my Missouri baseball. I know what they've done since.
Oh, you mean we're not
doing
the Missouri Mount Rushmore of baseball? We're doing like Mount Rushmores every single day. I tune in my social media. There's a Mount Rushmore for something.
Well, I think we could do one. Scherzer. Best players.
Have you done Mizzou yet on the Damian Mitchell morning show, Conrad? Have y'all done that yet?
No, that's coming up later this week, Pat.
All right.
Thanks for spoiling it.
Early returns. We got Pete Fairbanks. He's on my fantasy team. He's with the Rays. Oh, somebody has taken the time to go ahead and
give you a Mount Rushmore of Missouri baseball.
Max Scherzer comes in number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny Seibert. Remember him? No, you don't.
You can't say that I do.
What about Ian Kinsler?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Trying to see some other ones that you guys might know. Kyle Gibson, pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kyle was with the Cardinals last year.
All right. Homer Suma, you're not going to remember that right fielder from 1920. Yeah.
Okay, so Max Scherzer and Ian Kinsler.
Yeah.
Hey, those are two
We've
good
got
ones.
half a Rushmore.
Those are two good ones.
Let's throw in Pete Fairbanks. Although on this list he's 18th. Yeah, that's tough. Tough pickings there.
So Conrad, when you guys wrap up the Mount Rushmore, the SEC, what conference are you going to next? Mountain West?
No, I think we're going to do Maction in honor of you, Pat. So we're going to have you come in
greatest
and
Fresno State
help us out some
football
mornings.
coaches all time.
That's
Tell you what,
Pat Hill.
You laugh all you want to, but the MAC has produced a lot of really great
MAC
football
would
players.
be a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a good one.
Is Leipold on there?
Well, I mean, you got obviously Roethlisberger. You got Jack Lambert, Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly?
Yeah, you got tons of
Kelly would be on there, wouldn't he?
Tons to choose from. We will get to your text messages, your phone calls. We're 30 minutes away from wrapping this one up at Social Taco, but you still got time to come on by and see us. We're located on the Taco Terrace. This is Jocks 94.5's 3-Man Front. Alabama Crimson Tide, they advanced to day 2 of the SEC baseball tournament. Victorious today against the Missouri Tigers 4-1. The game was a lot closer than the 4-1 final. Matter of fact, Mizzou had the bases loaded in the top of the 9th inning, and Alabama was able to wiggle out of it without giving up any runs. Right now, you've got Kentucky and Oklahoma, and the Wildcats have a 1-0 lead in the top of the 3rd inning there at the Hoover Met.
Jock's text line is open, 205-834-9450. Had a text that came in earlier. I'm not sure who sent it to us, Pat, but I showed you the picture. Be weather aware today. Inclement weather
nasty
already
stuff
affecting
up in North Alabama.
North Alabama, other portions of the state. Central Alabama should be affected later on today. So keep your eyes and your ears peeled. But that was it looked like what was forming a tornado or a water spout potentially there in Waterloo, Alabama. We appreciate you sending in that picture. Very scary to look at. This one reads, hey guys, Luke here. Hey Luke. Which hot seat SEC coach do you think is least likely to survive the 2025 season? Meaning likely to be fired during or after the season.
Does he get his choices?
Yes. Would it be Stoops, Venables, Pittman, Freeze, Napier, or Brian Kelly?
I would go the easy route. I'd probably say Pittman.
I was about to say that's the easy one.
But if you're getting a little bit more complex one, I think it would be Stoops.
I will go, if it really goes bad, and this goes back to the conversation we had with our buddy out there in Oklahoma City. I think Venables, based on who you have at quarterback, who you brought in your offense. You're the defensive guy, so you're never going to get a pass on that side of the ball. So if things don't go well on offense and they don't win 8-9 games, I think there's the potential that they want to move on, go in a new direction, especially if Texas is having a lot of success.
So you think besides Pittman, Venables would be the second most likely?
Yeah, I think so.
I could see it. For some reason, I feel like the Stoops thing, like I'm with Pat on that one. I think that should be maybe the answer, but I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like they're not going to get rid of that guy.
You think it was bad for Missouri baseball this year? This one comes in. I'd take Missouri's baseball record. I played on a 4-42 team a year after a conference runner-up season. 18 one-run losses.
Oh,
man.
This is from BA and Carbon Hill. Woo!
That's bad, BA.
That's
wow.
tough. 4-4. 18 one-run losses. Oh, golly. Florida State and Miami on blue blood college baseball programs.
Yeah.
Thank you for that text. Back to a Pat Ponder's question. Which former present college NFL coach do you stop what you're doing and listen to every time they speak? Alan said, I always want to listen when Les Miles spoke. That is very, very true. Thank you, Alan. Fat Joe says, what about John Gruden? Only when he's talking baseball.
Oh, I love John Gruden. I'm so glad he brought back the QB camp thing that he used to do with ESPN. Now he does it with, I guess, Barstool. Yeah, John Gruden's
I mean,
great.
that session he did with Jackson Dart was just hilarious.
Oh, it was so fun. Getting his getting him to do the clap, and he's like, that's it? That's all you do? It was so good.
So how do you disguise your clap? Clap twice.
Clap twice.
Awesome.
This one rolls in from Scott. He says, all-time coach you would have to stop and hear was Mike Leach. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike was good.
Jimmy, going back to the what happened on the teenage throwing a party when the parents are out of town.
Yeah.
He said, when I was a teenager, I threw a party at my uncle's house. I didn't realize I gave myself away when I called to see how his day was going and what his weekend plans were. He comes home at 7 a.m., found empty liquor bottles everywhere, and me asleep on his couch. I'm almost 40, and he's still mad about it. I think I gave him my entire paycheck so he could replace everything my friends and I drank. Kids will be kids.
See, that's one thing you can't, as the casual, oh, so you're going to be home at what time again? And yeah, you can't make it too obvious.
Someone sending it's a picture of Just a beautiful mountain with nothing on it except for some trees for their Missouri Mount Rushmore. That's good.
That's funny. That's funny.
We continue with the text. This one, okay, it was Philip actually that sent us in that potential water spout in Waterloo. Back to the MAC coaches. Not Mount Rushmore, but really good coach and the biggest mistake Nebraska made, Frank Solich. Holly. No, she's not listening.
Yeah, she's working on
she's
something.
working on something. But, hey, Frank Solich, I think that was a mistake. Big Hank in Huntsville. Dennis Erickson, playoffs. Okay. Bobby. Conrad can't say nothing ever happened with that high school behavior when he literally fell down a cave. Now, to be fair to Conrad, that was college behavior.
Well, it was actually kind of an in-between because it was the summer between me graduating high school and starting college.
Okay.
But
So
technically, I was
we're
still
rounding
under my...
back. I was rounding up for you.
Well, I appreciate that. I was technically still under my mother's supervision, though. And she was not happy about that.
So you had graduated and you were getting ready to go to Alabama when you fell down the cave?
Pat, this happened 2 weeks before I started college. I moved into Alabama, had surgery, was in the hospital for a week, was on bed rest for a week at home, and then moved off
Did you
to
get
Tuscaloosa.
special arrangements for your classes?
I did.
Did Nick Saban come see you in the hospital?
Unfortunately, he did not. But my favorite story from that is I had to do physical therapy on campus. And so the first day I show up to physical therapy and, I get there and, they were all kind of being weird about it. And I got there and I was asking, is something going on? And they said, yeah, we're all just really excited because there's some kid coming in today that fell down a cave and shattered his leg. And we're all really interested to hear the story. And we're just waiting on him to get here. And I was like, well, that was me, and
Wait no longer.
Take your seats.
I was a very popular patient. Yeah.
Hey, that was a quick. Hey, all right. Enjoy the tournament, guys. Thumbs up. Luke, is Auburn still paying off Gus, or if we fire Hugh, will we be paying for 3 coaches?
No, I think the Gus stuff's taken care of.
And back to ideas for the song selection for the UNC marching band when Big Bill proposes to Miss Hudson. They're going to play I Don't Need No Rocking Chair by George Jones. You're tall and your Medicare. And this one rolls in from Zach Manning. You guys should hear Coach Cal talk at practice. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it'd be very interesting.
Maybe a little colorful?
Yeah.
I think so.
Probably so. Words that probably, hopefully, don't choose to use
Earmuffs.
in everyday life. Yeah, earmuffs, for sure.
Can't read that one, huh?
No. Good one, though. Thank you. If your text was not read, just know it was a really good one. We couldn't read it.
All right, this is 3-Man Front. A few more minutes left to go in the program. If you'd like to give us a call, 1-800-239-WJOX, the courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. You can also go vote at the 3-Man Front Twitter page, and it's our next bracket challenge, and it has to do with the, we're calling it the Fat Phil bracket.
Fat Phil bracket.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, actually, y'all aren't. I am.
He's horizontally challenged.
Sure.
Used to be. Looks like he's trimmed up a little bit.
Yeah, owns a plethora of Krispy Kreme franchises.
I just
that
hope
are in
he's
the
happy,
Knoxville
Pat.
area.
You hope
Well,
he's miserable.
Just okay. If you wonder if he's happy, just do a Google search on the golden parachute that the University of Tennessee gave him after he obviously got rid of Coach Pruitt.
Yeah.
And himself broke NCAA rules by being at practice and coaching while he was the AD. I got plenty of Phil Fulmer stuff for you.
You're getting fired up.
Hope Tony Vitello's listening right now.
Hey,
so he's
don't
getting
let
ready.
him steal your joy. Come on. Huh? You're the bigger man.
I brought up Fat Phil on the Fine Ball show yesterday. I was hoping Paul would
Did he
wanna
take the
go down
bait?
that road.
Did he take the bait?
Well, we were kind of running out of time. I was kind of wanting to go down the road there, but
That's a teaser. That's some crumbs for next time.
well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, Paul's a Tennessee graduate, so he gets a little nervous when I start bashing his university. Meanwhile, the Oklahoma Sooners, they've just gone yard.
Bashing the baseball. Man.
They're now taking a 2-1 lead over the Kentucky Wildcats.
That one landed in Bessemer.
Yeah, that was a shot. Looks like the ball's carrying pretty good there at the old Hoover Metropolitan Stadium.
A little bit of wind today, Pat. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, I noticed a little.
Around 19 miles an hour right now, but unfortunately later on we could get some wind gusts and straight line winds over 60 miles an hour. Be weather aware. It's pretty outside right now where we are, but later on things could change.
More three-man front. This is Jocks 94.5. Welcome back in. It's the final few minutes of Three-Man Front. It's been a great show. Appreciate everybody stopping by and seeing us. Another great crowd here at Social Taco. We had 2 or 3 brand new listeners, never been able to come up here and say hello to everybody, and they have just had a great time. So we encourage you, get an opportunity. Next Tuesday would be the day after Memorial Day. Have an opportunity to come on by and see us. We're here each and every Tuesday all year long from 10 until 2 here on Jocks 94.5. Alabama, they win earlier today 4-1 against the Missouri Tigers. The game was really close. Matter of fact, the Missouri Tigers out-hit Alabama, but Alabama is able to get 2 runs in the 4th inning. Got some insurance runs in the 7th and 8th inning to beat Mizzou. Final was 4-1. The Tide now 41-15. They'll play the 8th seed Tennessee on Wednesday. The winner of that second round matchup will then have to play Texas. So if you're looking at the formula for Alabama, Landrum, you just got to beat the defending national champion Tennessee, and then you've got to go and take care of business against the number 1 team in college baseball, the Texas Longhorns.
Well, and both you can. Alabama can certainly beat Tennessee. At this point, though, for Alabama, how much is Hoover this week?
How important is it?
Hinging as far as them potentially hosting. What does that look like? Is it I know that I've seen Clemson regional. I've seen all kinds of different scenarios, but do you think that making a deep run, if they get to a Thursday or a Friday here at Hoover, that's going to mean the difference in them going and being a 2 seed somewhere or being the 1 seed and hosting in Tuscaloosa?
I would think if they knock off Tennessee, then that conversation is starting to be a little bit more serious in regards to them hosting one. So
yeah, for sure. Well, we do see good from time to time. We see bad, unfortunately. Conrad, he sees bad, and he's here to tell us about it. This is the worst thing that Conrad has seen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we've been talking a lot about Bill and Jordan lately, but how about a little more drama in the sports world? As there are some new allegations that came out in the past couple of days involving a CEO and a former player. So we have a lawsuit that has been filed by a former Phoenix Sun employee by the name of Gene Traylor. So he has filed a lawsuit against the organization alleging racial discrimination and harassment, unlawful retaliation, and security issues within the organization. But one of the very interesting details that has come out is allegedly Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury, which is their WNBA franchise, their CEO, Josh Bartelstein, is allegedly had an affair with former Phoenix Mercury star Sophie Cunningham.
What?
Wow.
Who is now teammates with Caitlin Clark in Indiana. So she got traded from Phoenix to Indiana earlier this year. So make of that what you will. But yes, in this lawsuit, it is claimed that a former director of safety, security, and risk management was going around the organization and saying that the CEO, Josh Bartelstein, was having an affair with Sophie Cunningham. So Mr. Bartelstein, of course, has been married for the last 2 years. So as you can imagine, this has caused some problems. The Phoenix Suns were very quick to send out a statement yesterday saying, quote, "The recent reports concerning Josh Bartelstein and Sophie Cunningham are entirely false and morally reprehensible." But that hasn't stopped people from going wild with the alleged story that Bartelstein and Sophie Cunningham had a relationship during her tenure. She was a member of the Phoenix Mercury from 2019 through 2024. Bartelstein took over as CEO of the Mercury and the Phoenix Suns in 2023. They then signed Sophie Cunningham to an extension through this upcoming season, but ultimately decided to trade her to Indiana in February. So we have not heard any comments from her. We have not heard any direct comments from Bartelstein himself. All we have is what the Phoenix Suns have reported. But again, Bartelstein has been married now for the last 2 years, and this would certainly not make things go very well for him. So things a little bit in flux there for the Phoenix Suns and Phoenix Mercury organizations as they work through this lawsuit. And safe to say, if it does find out that any of this is true, I would think that his job security would be in quite some jeopardy. But
Little double dribble is what you're telling me.
Is that what we're calling it nowadays? Sure.
No.
So
Just based on the allegations, I'm going to say block charge. This is a tough one to try to decipher until we get more details.
Yes, absolutely so. But Bartelstein is 35 years old. I'm trying to find out. Sophie Cunningham is 28, so not quite a Belichick and Jordan situation here.
No.
But certainly some more entertaining drama as it comes to relationships in the sports world.
How did Josh Bartelstein make his money?
So that's a very good question because so he played at Michigan. If you remember, when Michigan played for a national championship, I don't know, this would have been, 10 years ago, something like that in basketball. He was actually a captain on that college basketball team. And then he went and worked for the Detroit Pistons for a number of years, and then he ultimately got brought over to Phoenix, and they tabbed him as the CEO of both the Suns and the Mercury. So that is the worst thing that I've seen, for sure.
Nah, it's not good for Caitlin.
Too many distractions.
Yeah, my fever. Hate it. All right, that's going to do it for us. Appreciate our friends here at Social Taco. Enjoy the SEC baseball tournament. Be weather aware the rest of this afternoon into tonight and the early morning hours because we want to hear from you, interact with you tomorrow. Paul Feinbaum. The Paul Feinbaum Show is next here on Jocks 94.5. Good afternoon.